On the track at the moment, we have the Down Under Graphics Street Stocks just warming up. Joining me in the booth tonight, I have Bailey. Bailey, good evening to you.
G'day to everyone out there over our three services, Facebook, YouTube and Twitch. We hope you guys have a great night of broadcasting, viewing. Sean, it's going to be a great one.
Yeah, these nights are turning. Usually they'll just run the one series each night, but thanks to Australian Speedway League, we get to see all three here. So currently on the track, as I said, are your street stocks, Down Under Graphics street stocks for tonight. We will run through your championship order because things are getting pretty hot in the kitchen here with the street stocks. If we have a look at first position, Brett Wheeler on 542 points. Currently the moment in second, only 4 points behind, say, International. Quite a unique track, the USA International, because it's not actually a real-life dirt track. It is a paved raceway that has closed down, and iRacing thought, obviously, because it no longer exists, they will put dirt on it for us to have an extra track. So a little bit of unique racing because it's not set up for dirt. We have these really long. We are going to see the cream of the crop really rise to the top here tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Before we get into anything else, we'll go over tonight's race details and how we'll see these guys grid up. We're in practice at the moment, known as our hot lapping sessions. Next, they'll go qualifying. They'll get 3 laps, and their best lap will count. That best lap will head into the 3 heat races. They'll get 1 heat race each, front rear tyre. So with the long straight, it's still going to be tiring on them, trying to keep that car as straight as possible when entering the corner.
Yeah, starts are a big thing here as well, because the start-finish pole is actually a fair way up the straight. We'll see them start in a straight line, and believe it or not, as much as you think that's really easy, once we get into the midgets and the sprint cars, they really have a tendency to let. Nah, it's definitely going to be a great night, and obviously with this sun out, sun and the dirt don't mix very well, so we are going to strip the moisture out of this track pretty quickly, so look for that slick line to form, and that's where we see the good racing. So just looking at the times now in this hot lap sessions, we have Zach Master at the top of the sheets, which is no surprise, doing extremely well in this street stock series. His quick time is...
Yeah, very close. We are going to chuck the checkered flags out for hot lapping. These cars will come back in. They'll have 5 minutes to do their 3 laps. So not much on the time, considering, you know, they do about half a minute, of a lap. So by the time you head out there, do your 3 laps. Most of the qualifying's hit up. So we'll see what car is first off the line.
Yeah, that's right. With the track being a little bit longer, those lap times are getting
ready to come across the start-finish line. For lap number 1 for Rick Burt, puts off just over a 28.031, but goes to the top of the times. Nathan Clark for lap number 1 pulls off a 27, almost flat with an 0.47. Very quick, 1/10 over Carl Stevens at the moment. Still a lot to qualify. 3-second lap. He's unable to go quicker, he gets slower, he'll go again.
Just an update on John Schultz, that will be as quick as he will go, and we see him currently sitting in 6th place, our tied for 2nd place competitor in this championship.
Another person out there at the moment gets
0.886, so let's keep an eye on Brett and see what he can do.
Every 1,000th counts in dirt racing just as much as it does in any other series. These guys need to push these cars to the limit to see what they can do. That time by unable to go quicker.
I think it looks like he may have got a 0 on the wall, as that time did not count. So this lap is the all-important lap. Needs to keep it smooth, but needs to try and find that 10th to get the quick time from Zach Masters.
Gets it nice and low through the corners. Still a little bit of moisture low there, Sean. So in 3 and 4, there could be a chance for a couple slide jobs to happen. And he goes to 27.149, still unable to go quicker.
So looking like that first lap has been the quick lap for most people. I know John Schultz's quickest lap was his first one, and as we just saw there with Brett, his first lap being the quick time. So be interesting to see in the racing how this is going to play out, and if we're going to be able to get that line up top to come in just as good as that line down the bottom.
One person to qualify, that's George Fullerton. He's in the 500 car. We haven't seen him come out on the track at the moment. State me if I'm wrong. I think he's out at the moment. Yes, he is.
Yes. Just coming on. Sorry, just coming onto the main straight now for his first lap time.
He will not get a chance to qualify. We'll go into heat race number 1 now. We'll get through the grid very shortly.
Sorry, Belly, that was the problem with running that late time to try and get the lap. You just don't get those 3 laps in.
No, not enough time. As we mentioned earlier, these cars have a bit of a longer a longer time around the track, so you don't get all the time in the world. You can't go out late and just bust a quick lap out. It just doesn't work.
Just looking at our format now, we will have 2 heats here tonight of 10 cars, so good turnout for the Down Under Graphics Street Stocks here tonight.
Well, they're starting to get out on the grid at the moment. We'll head through our starting grid for heat race number 1. 8 laps to go. We'll do it. Out of P number 1, your quick time, Zach Masters. 2 on his outside will be Lewis Hewitt, with 3 Brett Wheeler and Nathan Clark on the outside of the second row. 5th will be Kyle Stevens. Alan Hackett will take the 3rd row outside. Next we head to the 4th row, where we'll see John Schultz and Harry Edwards. 5th row will be Troy Smith, with Stephen Watts rounding out the top 10. Go to 11th. Mike Mitchell, Wiley, and 12th will be Billy Ryan.
The under Zach Masters' control behind the pace car here, we will wait for them to come around 2 laps under the pace car, so we'll have a bit of time to just watch them drive around here, as these, like we've explained, the lap is a little bit longer here at USA. Zach Masters and Brett Wheeler off the front row. This is going to be a great show. So your 2 championship leaders at the moment battling it out in this first heat. So it's going to, I believe, get a little bit argy-bargy at the front here.
See what they've got in store. They come down the back straight. Beautiful liveries on the cars tonight. They do a very wonderful job of getting these cars painted up each week and making sure they come back nice and clean each meeting. Pace car lights are off. Sean, do you want to take it underway for heat race number 1?
Your heat race number 1 is about to get underway. We are under green as your front row gets a great start. Zach just gets the jump on Brett Wheeler there. Missed the start a little bit. John trying to capitalize on that, makes it 3 wide into turn number 1. Slides up a little bit high, manages to just clear the back of Brett Wheeler. Your current top 3, Masters, Wheeler and Schultz. Kyle Stevens in 4th position, staying on the inside of John Schultz there, trying to make that inside run. John gets a little bit sideways, up high, and Kyle Stevens moves into 3rd position.
Yeah, the number 12 car of Mitchell Wiley, he took it 3 wide in the turn 3 and 4 last lap by. He got into a bit of a mix-up. He lost 3 positions to other drivers, Peter Hunnelberry, Troy Smith and Sean Davies. Now he's got to battle his way back through the field as they signal file themselves out.
Your front 4 starting to pull away already, so battle is on for your transfer spot. 5 cars will be going through from this heat. Currently Peter Hunnebel in that 5th position. Chasing him down is Shane Davies.
See Mitchell Wiley's all over the track trying to get the car back into the groove. It looks like the damage might have hurt the steering in the car. He's having trouble to get that car around the corner. looks like it has a fair bit of understeer.
Zach Masters now pulling away from Brett Wheeler, so a battle up front. Zach Masters has the advantage over that at the moment. Brett Wheeler in second. We have Carl Stevens in third, John Schultz in fourth. Your final transfer spot is still held by Peter Hannibal. Troy Smith now looking on the back of Peter to try and get into the feature without having to go through the B.
Just remembering one spot in the last chance stands, and it's, everyone's going to be fighting to make them way themselves directly into the A, just to have that one easy route to the A main. But that fifth and final transfer spot, we've mentioned them again and again, will be crucial all night. Those guys have almost got as much riding on their backs as P number one.
John Schultz with a move on Kyle Stevens for that third position. He takes that on the inside of Kyle Stevens. So your third position is now John Schultz, and looking to head out after Brett Wheeler. We are on lap 6 of 8, so laps may get the better of him here in this heat.
It's a good battle for 6th position at the moment. Troy Smith and Shane Davies, they were going at it for quite a while, but now they've caught back up to the back of Peter Hannibal. They've looked like they've drawn attention away from each other, and now the 13 car of Troy Smith up the inside of Peter Hannibal. We could see a slide job happen here. Gets a bit mixed up on the inside. They crisscross back and forwards. Troy Smith looks like he's going to get it done, and up the inside, Shane Davies.
Yeah, just Troy there did the move up the inside. He got the infield a little bit and straightened him up in the mid corner. Peter then had to obviously try and avoid him, and he went down low, and that just unsettled him. Got a little bit sideways, lost those 2 positions. We are on the last lap now. Shane Davies looking hungry for that 5th position, right up on the back of Troy Smith.
We'll head back up to the front to see Zach Masters cross the line. He will come home first for heat race number 1.
Second will be Brett Wheeler. John Schultz holding on to third. Kyle Stevens in fourth. And that great drive by Troy Smith there to get your final trans. Fifth back through to 6 will be Shane Davies. Peter Hannibal in 7th. Mitch Weil in 8th. Gavin Sadler in 9th, Matt Reed in 10th.
It was a good race there, Sean. Lots of competitive racing. We saw a couple times they went 3 wide there. And most of the time at the start, they were 2 wide. So it was really competitive racing. It's definitely the show what we'll see later on in the night.
Yeah, competitive and clean. That's the main thing. These guys are now starting to learn who they are racing with, and we are starting to see some really clean races. So they're able to put the moves on here and keep it clean and not take each other out, which is great to see as well.
We'll head over the heat race number 2 grid, brought to you by Down Under Graphics. We'll just bring that one up. Heat race number 2, we'll see Lewis Hewitt take P number 1. Number 2 will be Nathan Clark with Alan Tacken on the inside of row number 2. Harry Edwards will start on the outside. 5th position will be Stephen Watts with Billy Ryan in 6th. 7th will be Chris Grove with Daniel Page out of 8th. 9th will be Rick Burton, rounding at your top 10, George Fullerton.
Once again, with this 10-car heat, we will have 5 transfer through to our A main. That will leave 10 cars left for our B main tonight. This car will bring them around one more time.
This time by the flag, he will tell the pace car turn his lights off. There's, we mentioned 1 to go. The number 3 car, Lewis Hewitt. Beautiful livery on that car. He's the nice orange number 3. Does a splendid job each week with his driving. Definitely watch out for this race. He will put on a show for sure. Nathan Clark, also the number 25 car, the purple and green car. See what those two have got coming off the front row. Second row, don't be scared. Harry Edwards, he does a great job. Also the number 66 car. He'll see what he can do. Well, Sean, we're going to go to heat number 2. Bring us away.
Lights are off on the pace car as he brings us around turn 3 and 4. Look for Lewis to get the jump here. Nathan Clark will have to be on his game. Once they get the green flag, they will be underway. Green flag, and the field is really tight. Great start by Nathan Clark. Gets a little bit squeezed up the top as they come into turn 1, 3 wide. Billy Ryan up into the fence there, gets pushed a little bit high in the back. Lewis Hewitt now gets back past Nathan Clark and is your race leader into turn number 3.
Ryan off the start, he jumped a couple rows, he went up on the outside, they took it 3 wide across the road. We've got a spinner. It could be, yes, the 222 car of Chris Grove went sideways coming off that corner. Looks to have a bit of steering damage as he's going to pull that one up. And he's decided he's going to get a tow.
He's out of this heat. No yellows in the heats as of all normal nights for the new people that have joined us. We will only have yellows once we get to the feature. So racing continues, even though we have lost Chris Grove now after that spin on the front straight. Lewis Hewitt is your leader. Nathan Clark hounding the back of that number 3 car.
Starting to get a bit of gap now, Lewis Hewitt. He's got about 2 to 3 car lengths now over Nathan Clark, but one corner can change that. Nathan Clark just needs to keep hitting his marks, not too far back. As you mentioned, Harry Edwards, those 3 have pulled away from the main pack. Have a look a bit further back now. Alan Tacken, him and the 5 car got together in turn 3 and 4. Now they've pulled themselves back out together. They'll slot in single file now.
Alan Tacken in position 4 and Stephen Watts position 5. So Stephen Watts is your bubble position at the moment. Currently on the outside looking in is Daniel Page as he gets a little bit sideways and hits the inside wall. And here comes George Fullerton in the 500. Can't quite make the move on that. Looks to go down the inside into turn 1 but slides up a little bit too high.
Got at the inside, needs to run off the corner. He could get it. No, he's unable to grab the run off the corner, but he'll try and give it a dive. No, he'll go around the outside. Stick with the moisture and do where he does best. We're over halfway home for heat number 2 of the Down Under graphics race. Back up the front, and Lewis Hewitt definitely showing the way, running that low line, hitting his marks pretty consistently. He's pulled out 5 or 6 car gap now on Nathan Clark, so doesn't look like Nathan Clark is going to have an answer here for Lewis Hewitt. Harry Edwards with a great start. He's running in 3rd, so from 4th up to 3rd, he'll be happy with that. Alan Tacken sitting inside your top 5 as well. He'll be happy to go through to the feature here tonight. Big gap behind Stephen Watts, so it looks like he will be safe for that 5th position. George Fullerton and Daniel Page still battling it out side by side down the back straight as they go into turn number 3. George still trying to make that high line work. It's quite amazing that he's still running with Daniel there. Gets the crossover, but resorts back up to that high line. And this is the final lap. Your field spaced out here at the moment. Final lap on the board. Lewis Hewitt will take heat race number 2 Down Under graphics street stocks. Yeah, very dominant drive by Lewis Hewitt there. Put in the margin on Nathan Clark and took out your heat number 2 win for Down Under graphics street stocks. So we'll just wait for the final few cars to cross the line. We will give you your race order for heat number 2. Lewis Hewitt in 1st position. Nathan Clark was in 2nd. In 3rd position was Alan Tacken. Harry Edwards in 4th. Your 5th position and final transfer was Stephen Watts. Billy Ryan in 6th. Chris Grove in 7th. 8th position, Daniel Page. Rick Burt in 9th. And George Fullerton in 10th. Well, Sean, we've had a look and we've spoken to the officials here at USA Speedway along with the event organisers. They've canned the last chance dance, the B main, and we're going to head straight to the feature race tonight. 30 laps around the USA International Speedway, the dirt version. the iRacing Dirt version in the street stocks. And, well, off the front row, it's going to be a great race. Zach Masters and Lewis Hewitt. What a front race.
Third position on your second row will be Brett Wheeler. Fourth position will be Nathan Clark. John Schultz will be starting out of fifth position. Sixth position will be Harry Edwards. Kyle Stevens is out of seventh position. Alan Tacken will be out of eighth. Troy Smith out of ninth. Starting in your top 10 will be Stephen Watts. Shane Davies will be starting out of 11th position. 12th will be Daniel Page. Peter Hannibal will be out of 13th. George Fullerton will be out of 14th. 15th position will be Mitch Weil. Billy Ryan will be starting out of 16th. Gavin Sadler out of 17th. 18th will be Rick Burt. Matt Reed out of 19th. And Chris Grove out of 20. Quite interesting to see Gavin Sadler that far back tonight, so look for him to come up through the field, Bailey.
Yeah, he shows his form by continuing to show the same results, but being so far back in the pack, like, it's very not normal for Gavin Sadler to be back there. He's shown his dominance in the dirt series, and he's shown what he can do. It's just he needs to perform it. Lights go out on the pace car. We'll go 1 to green. The pace, as we mentioned, the track lights go out. Also, 20 cars for the A main here.
Bailey, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Who is your prediction for tonight's feature race?
Well, I'm going to have to put on Lewis Hewitt. The outside line looks to be pretty quick if they can get that going very quickly. So I'll have to put my money on Lewis Hewitt, the number 3 car. As the pace car comes around 3 and 4. Sean, do you want to take us away for the street stocks?
Most certainly, my pick will be Brett Wheeler. Let's watch him from that inside row number 2 as your pace car pulls into the pit lane. We'll be started. Green flag, and we are underway here for your feature race tonight. Lewis Hewitt on the outside gets a good start, but watch Zach Masters down on the inside. Can he get that drive coming out of turn number 2? Brett Wheeler falls back to 4th position. In 3rd place, Nathan Clark. Zach Masters trying to pull in behind Lewis, but can't, so pulls up alongside him, trying to get the run out of here. Lewis will give him enough room. That was really nice of Lewis, and gets the run onto the main straight.
Peter Hannibal didn't get the start he wanted in turn 1 and 2. He got into a bit of a crossover with Shane Davies. Those two have dropped right back in the pack. Now we go a bit further. We got a car turned around. Yellow go out on the track. Mitchell Wiley's involved. Chris Grove's involved. Multiple cars. 5 cars involved. And wow, first pace car, lap number 2.
That was just a matter of 4 cars trying to get in there, Bailey. There wasn't enough room for those 4, and we just saw number 13, I think, banked everybody up, and then there was just nowhere else to go.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier on in the night, Sean, this car is very long. The track is a very long, straight, tight corners. There's not enough room for 4 cars to go around at the same time on the same portion of that corner. They can go single file around, but they're definitely not going to be able to go around 4 wide.
No, certainly not. We're just looking back through the 442, I believe, was the main course of that caution, just spinning on the inside there, and people just getting into him with nowhere to go.
Yeah, Kyle Stevens in the 442. He'll head in the pit lane alongside the 34 of Daniel Page. That will end their night in the street stock class for tonight. Don't go away after this race, guys. We've still got 2 more events to go. We've got the midgets and the sprint cars to come, but we'll get back to the race. Lewis Hewitt will take the start of this race. Zach Masters and Brett Wheeler. Well, my tip's out in front. Sean, where do you think Brett will finish from now?
Still early in the race. He's definitely looking very racy there in the third position. So, but Zach Masters putting on a good show here yet again, showing why he's mixing it up there at the top within this championship, putting in some really consistent runs here. And once again, he was putting a fair bit of pressure on Lewis Hewitt there at the start. Lewis wasn't able to just get settled and start to pull away. So let's keep an eye on Brett and Zach behind Lewis here.
Regrid them back up. They'll go too wide off the start. We don't do single files here. And the front row switches positions. Zach Masters started the race off on the inside, Lewis Hewitt on the outside. The pace car lights are off as we go into turn 3 and 4. Well, Sean, do you want to take us away for the second time in the main?
As the pace car pulls in, Lewis Hewitt will have control of this field coming onto the main straight. He gets on it very early. As soon as that pace car went into the pits, he was on that accelerator and manages to pull in front of Zach Masters. Round the outside, here comes Nathan Clark. A great run into turn 1. We are under yellow.
Cautions go out, involve Rick Burt in the 022 car. Also, it looks like the number 19 of Shane Davies were also involved. Those two were the main cause of that one. By the looks of it, we'll see what we can do for you guys. We'll get a replay on this one.
Oh, a bit unfortunate there. Just having a look at Rick Burton, I was focusing on him. The 19 got hit by the 12, who had a really good run down into turn 1, turned the 19 up into Rick, and Rick got tagged by the 19 and turned around.
Yeah, having a look in the background of the replay there, we're able to see the pace car couldn't even get the brakes on. He was straight back out there, and that's very unfortunate. We want to see as many green laps as possible during this race. So, well, that's the second caution of this main. Hopefully there isn't too many more.
Yeah, exactly what you said. Cautions do breed cautions, especially with such a long run down into turn 1. They already have a lot of speed coming into turn 1, so trying to navigate around with people going everywhere, trying to make positions is extremely hard on this USA International circuit.
Well, Lewis Hewitt still will lead Zach Masters to the line with Nathan Clark and Brett Wheeler. Harry Edwards, will be the top 5 for this one. Sorry, just mistaken. Alan Tacken. No, telemetry is just fixing itself up at the moment.
So we see Rick Burt there. He was lapped down, so he gets the wave around. He gets to pass the pace car and go and join the back of the fastest line. We know he was caught up in that accident to cause the yellow. So we have our leading cars at the front again now. Your lights are out on the pace car.
They'll grid up again, too wide along the straights, and as you mentioned, the track lights are out. Into turn 3 and 4, the pace car will turn off at the end of turn number 4. He dives into pit lane. We'll take it away for the third time for this Street Stocks A main. Sean, it's all yours.
Let's watch Lewis try and jump on that again. He doesn't get the start he got, but does manage to bank the field up. Nathan Clark there just got a little bit balked and manages to lose a position to Brett as Brett goes around the outside. Zach again, not letting Lewis go anywhere, right up on the back of his taillights. We have another yellow in turn 1.
Yeah, the 13 car of Troy Smith, and just having a quick look. Looks like John Schultz in the 78 car was also involved there. Have to get a replay of that one.
Yeah, just watching John Schultz through that slick, that black line there. Perfect example. It is really slippery. We see the back of that car get loose. The 13 has nowhere to go and gets into the back of him. So Troy Smith into the back of John Schultz there. It's going to be interesting for championship complications now. So John being that far back, that's definitely not where he wants to be running at the front of this championship.
No, definitely not. As the 13 pulls himself down pit lane, that will be his night over and done with. As we don't allow cars to come back out onto the track once they've come down pit lane for safety precautions. So that will see the 13 car of Troy Smith. His street stock night will be done.
Hopefully we can get some laps in here tonight, Bailey. Just this turn one proving a little bit difficult. Everyone trying to make up too many positions too quickly, and we're just seeing them bump into each other coming into turn one.
Yeah, we'll see lap number 14 come around when we take the green flag. Currently on lap number 13 as they cross the line. So we're almost halfway home already. And we've only seen a handful, less than a handful of green flag laps, so we don't really know what these cars are going to do over a long stretch of time. If we can get a 10 lap, even the rest of the race green, we could see Lewis Stewart stretch away, we could see someone from the back come through the field. As the pace car lights go off, the track lights go off even, we'll send them too wide again. Lewis Stewart, Zach Masters take the front row once again. The pace car comes round 3 and 4. We'll let Sean take it for the 4th time in the A main here in the street stock down under graphics series. Stage is yours.
Pace car pulling in off turn number 4. John Schultz on the loud pedal early again. Zach Masters anticipates and tries to keep alongside but doesn't. Does the changeover, gets down low. All three of them come extremely close on that low line. Brett Wheeler slides up a little bit high, loses a little bit of ground, and we are under yellow again.
Yeah, you could see Mitchell Wiley in the background. He got up on the front of a car, not exactly sure who yet.
500. George Fullerton there. So let's have a look at this in the replay. George gets back into the back of number 12 there, and hits the inside wall. Mitchell hits the inside wall and comes up into George and puts him into the outside wall. So time and time again we see turn 1 causing us a little bit of an issue here tonight.
Yeah, well, that will see Mitchell Wiley. His night will be over now. The damage on the 500 also, he'll see himself come down pit lane. That will end another person's night. Now we'll see at the back of the pack, the number 222 car. So he needs to get this field going. This guy's going to get round turn number 1 as we're halfway home now. And well, I think we've only run 1 green flag lap now, Sean.
Yeah, not many green flag laps here tonight. I'm a little bit surprised. I know this track is a little bit tricky, but I thought the corners were going to be wide enough that we'd be able to see some good green flag racing, but we just need the guys to settle down a little bit, just get through those first couple of corners, find their groove, and I'm sure we'll get some good racing towards the end here with some green flag laps coming up.
Yeah, don't go away anywhere, guys. We'll be back after this with the midgets and the sprint cars, as the pace car truck lights will go off this time by, well, the midgets, Sean, they've shown a lot of speed over the last few rounds over a lot of the sprint cars. The street stocks are a bit on the slower side, but they're awesome to race, they're awesome to watch. They've got generally, other than what seems to be tonight, unfortunately, a lot of yellow flag laps. They can run for quite a while and they get some nice racing side by side.
Yeah, they definitely do. So the street stocks is more of a feeder class as we get up into the higher classes. So people usually get their feed in on the dirt in street stocks. So if anybody out there wants to start, this would be where they start and move up in the categories. So what we will see later is single file starts though, so that would be probably a little bit safer than these double file. As our pace car comes in, Lewis Hewitt gets the start, gets the jump. Brett Wheeler looks up the inside of Zach Masters this time. Great start by Brett on the inside, side by side as they go into turn number 1.
Looks like we're going to get through clean. We do.
Harry Edwards trying to look on the inside of Zach Masters there, couldn't get the job done as Zach Masters turns down on the inside of Brett Wheeler.
3 wide off the corner there. They go 2 wide into the corner. We can see Harry Edwards, Brett Wheeler and even Nathan Clark, they're going too wide into these corners. These guys at the front got a bit more experience. They're able to go too wide. Brett Wheeler up on the outside. Now he's going to try to get the outside line to work along with the 21 car of Alan Tack, and they're going to try see if this outside line will work as Brett Wheeler looks to be getting it done.
Yeah, Harry Edwards goes up into the third position. Brett Wheeler trying to make the high line work, slides down to the inside now. We'll see him get the run off turn number 2 as we go under yellow.
Big hit out the back.
So the number 5 of Stephen Watts was involved in that. We will go back and have a look at a replay for you. You see coming into turn 1, he gets that inside bump again. There is a really large bump there just where the exit cone for the pit is. We see him get up on that. Car gets a little bit loose, gives a big push just going into the corner. He gets into Alan Tacken and then down onto the inside wall, and nobody could get around him and everyone piles into him. So looking at the damage on that car, we may see him continue, but we may see him pull into the pits also.
Yeah, it looks like he's pulled down pit lane. That will be his night done in the street stocks as there is a fair few cars retired now. Stephen Watts, George Fullerton, Mitchell Wiley, Troy Smith, Shane Davies, Kyle Stevenson, Daniel Page. It's 8 cars now out of this race of the 20 cars we brought into this one, Sean, and it's quite devastating.
Yeah, it was such a great race last week to then come here and just see them struggling a little bit on this racetrack. So obviously these are the feeder series, so all the guys here are learning. They're new. Some of them are really new to dirt. They haven't been in the car very much, so obviously just trying to get a feel for dirt and these cars. So hopefully as the championship progresses, we'll see those new guys come to grips with the cars and the tracks, and we'll see them obviously start moving up the field.
Less than 10 laps to run. The grid will again form up for the 6th time this race. Brett Wheeler will be starting on the inside row of row number 2. Well, he's shown a fair bit of speed on the outside. He might want to get himself up there and try to get a slide job done, or he might stick to the bottom. You can see Lewis Hewitt, he's had that work for himself along with his starts. He was able to get a great start the last few ones. We'll see what he can do this time by. The pace car truck lights are off. Sean, are you able to take it away for the 6th time?
Here we go. Hopefully this will be the last restart. Pace car pulls in off of turn 4. Lewis Hewitt with another great start. Brett Wheeler looking up the inside again of Brett Masters, so he'll be a little bit smarter to this move. Oh, Brett Masters into the back of Lewis Hewitt, turns him around.
Oh, big one. Lewis Hewitt was able to get through, and then just at the end of that one, he gets pulled, looks to be getting pushed up by the number 20 car. We'll go to a replay. Matt Reed bumped him into the wall once it was all over and done with.
So we just see Zach get into the back. That was all forced by Brett Wheeler there from that last restart. Zach Masters knew Brett Wheeler was going to try and make that inside work, so he had to race into that corner, race onto the inside, and he's just misread a little bit. Lewis Hewitt there, probably up into the slick a little bit, got a little bit of wheel spin, slowed him down a little bit. Zach wasn't prepared, and into the back and turned him around.
Well, Sean, as we mentioned earlier in the race, Gavin Sadler, he was down the back of the race. He started very deep in the field, and while he's got a fair bit of damage on that vehicle, he's been able to gather himself up. He's in 4th at the moment of this restart. He'll start on the outside of row number 2, with Lewis Hewitt now behind him after that incident.
Yeah, Gavin, he's always just pegging along, taking little bit by little bit, and once again we see him here in the top 5 again. So obviously not the best position for him to start down the back of the grid, but he has made the most of it with all these restarts. Your leader now, Brett Wheeler, was the big beneficiary out of Zach Masters and Lewis Hewitt incident into turn 1. So after last week, we know that some people were pushing for fuel. We did see fuel run out because they were expecting a lot of yellows and we went green. So interesting to see if fuel is going to play a part here this week. I do know that they probably would have put more in it. They'd be more prepared for it. 27 of 30, we've only got 3 laps. We may need to keep an eye on some of these cars running out of fuel here towards the end if they were cutting it close.
Very hard to predict how many laps they will go green to yellow. The yellow lights are still out. Just we will not go green this time by. The pace car lights will come off this time by. Your front row changes now. Brett Wheeler, who started out of 3rd position last restart, got a great one up the inside of Nathan Clark. Sorry, and he was able to get a beautiful start. Now he'll start out of P number 1 now. The 25 car of Nathan Clark will start off row number 2. The second row will change again. Alan Tacken and Gavin Sadler. Well, the top 4, Sean, it's changed and it's going to make great end racing now. It'll be 2 laps when we go to the line.
It's going to be a great 2 laps. Don't rule out Alan Tacken and also Lewis Hewitt back there in 5th. Let's see what he can do from there. Don't rule him out either. I tell you what, I do not want to predict the winner of this race at this current point. Pace car is coming in. 2 laps to go. 28 of 30. Brett Wheeler gets a great jump. We see him get that jump and move straight up to the outside. He'll come in and run low, as so does Nathan Clark. Alan Tacken on the inside. Lewis Hewitt trying to look underneath him, but Alan Tacken closes the door. Gavin Sadler gets the run on the outside of Lewis Hewitt into turn number 3. Brett Wheeler leads us at the moment. Nathan Clark in 2nd. Alan Tacken right behind him, looking for a way past. As run number 20 around at the back, and we are under yellow, and that will be our finishing positions as this is the last lap. So we have a look at the replay here of the number 20 spinning on the front straight. Matt Reed. Yeah, just look at everybody trying to get to that inside line. We've seen it all through race, that high line not really providing much drive and everybody trying to get to that low line. Just looks like everybody banked up down there and a spun coming out of turn 4. So let's go to our race results here for your A main. Brett Wheeler is your winner out of all that. 2nd position was Nathan Clark. Alan Tacken in 3rd position. 4th position is Lewis Hewitt after getting turned around and managed to finish 4th. That'll be good for his championship points. 5th position is Gavin Sadler. Great drive for him, moving up 12 positions there. Billy Ryan in 6th position. 7th will be Chris Grove. Harry Edwards in 8th position. John Schultz in 9th. 10th position will be Rick Burt. Matt Reed in 11th position. Zach Masters will get some points in 12th. Your non-classified drivers for tonight: Peter Hannibal, Stephen Watts, George Fullerton, Mitchell Weil, Troy Smith, Shane Davies, Kyle Stevens, and Daniel Page. Well, that was interesting, we could say. Not a lot of green flag racing, but we did see a few people move up through the field there.
Yeah, it was a good race, especially for your race winner, Brett Wheeler. He sat back for most of the race. He waited for the right moment, and that last restart, he got the benefit of it. He was able to jump through, did get any damage of the vehicle, just a little bit at the front. That could have been from any restart during the race, and well, he's come out best of all of them.
Yeah, definitely. And we have Brett Wheeler sitting up in our green room waiting for an interview. So we may bring Brett down here. Brett, or should I say Stephen Bradbury there, Brett, got a little bit lucky there, but you definitely put the pressure on Zach Masters, and I think that's what saw him run really deep into turn one there. Was that what you were trying to do? Obviously, the low line here tonight was the place to be.
Yeah, it was all bottom. I mean, you know, the restarts are crucial, especially trying to get to the bottom. You know, there was a couple of times where I got on the inside of Zach, and, you know, he was able to get underneath me, but you know, tonight was just about luck. You know, I definitely didn't have the fastest car. You know, the win should have gone to Lewis or Zach. So, I mean, you know, to come out with a win, you know, it's better to be lucky than fast at some places.
Yeah, definitely, and you've definitely got to be there to obviously pick up those crumbs. So definitely taking nothing away from you here tonight. You were always there on the restarts, always sniffing around. Zach and Lewis obviously did look like they have a bit of a quicker car, but like I said, congratulations on still being there to pick up the pieces. Obviously, that low line, having everybody there, nothing up high. I believe that was obviously due to the weather, or what did you think of the track tonight?
Track was definitely all bottom. I mean, I don't think there was enough cars to run in the top, especially only with, you know, 15 minutes of practice and then only having 2 heats. I think we have 20 cars here tonight, so definitely not enough to run the track in, especially to get that top side. I did think that it was going to come in there probably in the last sort of 5 or 6 laps. So I did venture up top on one of those restarts, and I got around, I think it was Nathan Clark. So, but you know, bottom was just too strong, and that's where you had to be.
Yeah, I think the lack of green flag laps there didn't allow this track to come in the way that we should have seen it come in and seen those 2 grooves. So once again, great drive tonight. Is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, first off, you guys and everyone here at RRTV for putting on the broadcast. Gav over at the Australian Speedway League for putting on these events. Joel from Down Under Graphics for the series sponsorship. Bod King Designs, Ultimate Dirt TV, and the new team, UW Motorsports. So first race and 1 win, I'll take it.
Thanks for your time tonight, Brett. We will see you later in the night. Brett Wheeler there. Obviously a little bit disappointed in the car speed, but does manage to get the full points here tonight. So that will be his 2nd win in the street stocks. Sorry, 3rd, apologies. Definitely starting to dominate this street stock series, Bailey.
Yeah, tonight was just another excellent performance by him, and he did a wonderful job of the drive. He stayed out of trouble most of the time, as he mentioned. He just wanted to get that car to the finish line and bag as many points as he could. And, well, he did that for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. So stay with us. That is the end of our Dirt Street Stocks tonight, brought to you by Down Under Graphics. We now move over to our race merch, Dirt Midgets. So don't go anywhere, and we will be back in a short time.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from the ad. We're back here at USA International Speedway, the dirt version here. And, well, we're here with the race merch midgets now. And it's going to be a cracker. I'm back joined with Mr. Sean. And, well, Sean, how do you think this one will go?
Wow. Thanks for that, Bailey. It's going to be interesting here. After what we just saw in the street stocks, I'm sure the event organisers would have had a talking to the drivers in the drivers briefing before this race meeting started, and they would be definitely aware of turn number 1 here tonight. We definitely want to see a lot of more green flag racing here for the fans.
Yeah, turn 1 definitely will possibly come off a lot easier for these cars. They are a lot smaller. They'll be able to get the 3 wide around the corner if they can play it safely and hold their lines. But saying that, as the track progresses, Sean, the slick line will push the cars up the track. They want to get off that slick line and find as much of the moisture as possible. And it'll become quite tricky as we get into the feature race. But early on in the heat races, it could be a possibility.
Yeah, definitely. We want to see that cushion form, and we want to see them bounce off that cushion. So we're seeing them running some laps here now. We're getting that moisture off the top so that we can get down to that tacky surface underneath the water. And then after that, we'll see them push that tacky stuff up to the high line where we will form that cushion and hopefully get some great racing. Just some news from the pit lane. It looks like our championship leader, Danny Vassell, was under threat of not making it. But just checking now, he has been able to get into the server and will be racing here tonight.
Well, while we go over championship points, we'll head over to Sean. He'll be able to give you the top 10 for our championship points.
Your championship standings for your race merch midgets here for your Australian Speedway League Championship. Daniel Vassell in first position on 544 points. A very close 2 points behind him is Bob King on 542 points. And again, tied Brett Jr. Morris on 542 points as well. Lewis Hewitt in the mix again in the midgets as well. 534 points in 4th position. Kevin Sadler, obviously Mr. Consistent Sadler in 5th position there. James Robbie in 6th position. Mark Reardon in 7th. Harry Edwards is in 8th position. Joel Berkeley unexpectedly down in 9th position. He'll be looking to move up those championship points here tonight. And Scott Butler rounding out your top 10.
Lewis Hewitt from the last race along with Gavin Sadler, they were in the top 5 in the championship points. So, well, they had a decent race last race. Lewis Hewitt had a bit of a slip up in the street stocks. He'll have another crack, hopefully, in the midgets. We'll see if he's out on track. Doesn't seem to be yet, but hopefully he'll make it, try to defend. Oh, sorry, he is out on track. My mistake, guys. So he'll have another crack at the midgets now, trying to get his way up the championship leaderboard.
And as always, we will have our feature driver out here on the track tonight. So Ryan Harris will be our spotlight driver in the number 12 car. So as we see him circling around on the track, we will focus in on him. We will give you a little bit of background of where Ryan's come from. He is a real life racer, currently racing V6 wingless out of Victoria, I believe it is. Queensland up there. So another real life racer. Will be putting the spotlight on tonight on Ryan Harris.
Yeah, nice race there. Does a very good job in the wingless sprint cars. I've seen a couple of his races. He's got a lot of potential. He's definitely shown some strength. He's just waiting for that one time where the car will just tune into the track and you'll see him get on the podium, and he'll have a very good night for sure.
Yeah, very young at 21 years old, so still has a lot to learn, but definitely shows a lot of maturity in this series. We've already seen that after the first 5 rounds, so definitely no immaturity there, so that's great to see for a 21-year-old.
Considering he comes from a totally different sport background, he comes from the sport of basketball. He played that throughout high school, and Well, it's a totally different turn of events if you want to come from basketball to motorsport.
Definitely seems like worlds apart, doesn't it? But in the end, competition is competition, and it all comes down to having that mental game. So that may explain why we see such a maturity out of Ryan Harris. Having a look through your timing sheet at the moment, just before we get underway, just over 3 minutes left for these hot lapping sessions. Bob King is your leader out in front with a quick time 22.1. He's 2/10 ahead of Lewis Hewitt, and our spotlight driver Ryan Harris tonight 22.4, sitting in third position. Terry Marwood in fourth position. It's great to see Terry up there. Veteran racer, loves his sim racing. He will race any form of cars, whether it's dirt or tar. He just loves getting on the sim and racing. So great to see him up there in the top 5.
Yeah, other big names out there. Gavin Sadler, he's sitting down in 13th position in hot laps at the moment. He hasn't been able to dial himself into the track, considering the people that were out there first would have had the best chance at getting some better lap times due to the speed of the track. The track eventually wears in, the best lines become slicker. But saying that, there's still a potential in the track. We'll see quick times definitely come out in qualifying. Bob King will show some quicker, hopefully get quicker and quicker throughout the night. He generally does a brilliant job in the midgets. And Lewis Hewitt always, as you mentioned.
Yeah, definitely. And a driver to keep an eye on too is James Robbie. Very unfortunate driver. He's always up in that top sort of 5 position, but generally gets a little bit unlucky and ends up caught up in those accidents. So look for him to try and stay out of that trouble tonight. If he does, I am predicting a podium for him here tonight.
Well, just under 2 minutes of hot lapping remaining. We'll again go over our event details and how it will pan out. At the moment, there is just over 20 cars in the server, so if we have a look at our race details, we've got our current practice, which is classified as hot laps. They'll again go qualifying, 5 minutes to get 3 laps done. There is a bit of a quicker lap time in the street stocks, about 5 to 6 seconds, but not too much of a difference, where getting out early is going to be very crucial. You can't go out late because you might miss your qualifying, as we saw George Fullerton do it in street stocks. Heat racing time, everyone will get 1 heat race. There'll be 3 heat races with 8 laps of race. 5 will go to the feature. Then we'll go to the consolidation, or last, better known as the B main, the last chance dance, 12 laps with 1 to go to the feature. That may not run. It depends if we get enough people in the server. As we saw the street stocks, they went straight to the feature again, which will be 30 laps with the yellows on.
30 lap feature here tonight, so definitely looking for a great show here in the Race Merch Dirt Midgets. Hopefully we can see some green flag laps. This track will come in nicely and we should see some great racing from all the guys out there tonight. So we're just wrapping up hot laps with 30 seconds to go, and then we will move into time trials. So very important, definitely won't make your night, but it certainly can break your night. If you're buried down in that field, you are definitely going to make it hard for yourself to make that feature, and quite possibly have to do the B main before you get into that feature.
Yeah, well, if we have to go to the B main, only 1 transfers into the dance, the A main, the feature race. And well, if you're coming from the back of the race, it's hard enough, but imagine coming from the back where you've got to get that 1 transfer spot, that 1 last hope in the B main to get it through to the A main. There's hot laps will now conclude. We'll send them out qualifying.
Expect to see most of them come out early. Like we said, not a lot of time here to qualify. It's only 5 minutes. They do have 3 laps, so they want to make sure they get the most out of their 3 laps. Bob King is out on the racetrack. Aaron Kelly gets a little bit wrong, and he gets sent back to the pits to reset that car. He just went a little bit hot into turn 3, got into the fence, wants to make sure there's no damage on that car, so he's back in the pits getting ready to run his 3 laps.
Well, the lap looks good so far for Bob King in the track start. Synergy Sim Racing 51 car. Nice and low in turn 3 and 4. Looks like he might have bounced off the corner. We'll see what happens. Will he get that lap? He does. He will set the pace now. 22.518. Still holding quick time for lap number 1. Remember, they've got 3 laps.
Just watching Lewis Hewitt come around here for his first lap, so it'll be interesting to see where this first lap puts him. It's looked really clean. He's been running through the middle of the racetrack, and his first lap at 22.85 puts him into 4th position currently.
Yes, Scott Butler, he is in 2nd position. Just went quicker. He's just under 2/10 slower than Bob King at the moment. Who, well, he was flying at the moment. He is now finished his 3 laps. He's sitting at the end of the pit lane. It looks like his last lap went wrong. Matt McCutcheon, is just over 3/10 slower than Bob King. Lewis Hewitt just under 5/10 slower. So the grid, once you get past about Matt or Lewis, they are very condensed at the moment. And in general, the field is just over a second apart.
Yeah, your top 3 currently not on the racetrack. Bob has just gone out to complete that last lap, so we saw him pull into the pits after his second one. You'll see must have bumped the wall or didn't like that one, so he boarded that lap, went back to the pits, reset, and now he is going to be going out for a 1-lap flyer.
Yeah, that lap won't count, unfortunately. iRacing rules and the sporting code don't allow you to come from pit lane and get that lap back. So that will see him qualifying over and done with. We'll see other cars out on track at the moment. Joel Berkeley, TTL Esports, number 13. He's on lap number 2. We're seeing, what happened to his first lap. It did not count. He comes by the line for his 2nd lap. He goes 22.847, will put him 4th quick on the track.
Just having a look now, Tammy Baston coming out to set quick times very late in the session. Only 1:30 here to go, so we'll see if we can get all the laps in for Tammy Baston here.
Another person who hasn't set a lap time, Daniel Vassell. Last week was very strong out on track. He's pulled it up in turn 1 and 2. He was unable to pull a lap time out of all 3 of his laps. Just might not be his week.
That's going to be a big disappointment, especially being the championship leader coming into this round. Very close, only 2 points behind Bob King, who looks like he may get quick time. Tammy Baston sets a time there of a 23.2, good enough to slot into 12th position.
Now I'm looking at Cody Morosky at the moment. He's currently 19th, crosses the line for his 3rd lap, goes 1 spot quicker. He will be Aaron Kelly.
Just focusing on our spotlight drivers, it's 6th position at the moment for Ryan Harris. That's a great place to be starting the night. Not quite up front, but still pretty happy to be sitting in 6th for him, I'm sure. We're on a 22.862, so not far behind the rest of the group, just in front of him.
Yeah, well, that will put him at the front of his heat race. He'll have a chance to make it to the front now, get those much needed points he'll require, and get him as far up the A main as possible. 6th position is great. As qualifying will conclude for the race merch midgets, we'll head into heat number 1 as well. They're going to start getting on the grid. We'll get these guys underway. All 3 heats will run. We'll shorten the amount of cars in the heat. 8 cars will take the track per heat.
8 cars in this first one. We will then have 7 cars in heat 2 and 3. We will still take our top 5 from each of the heats and transfer them directly into the A main.
Much needed positions. Watch that 5th position during the races. Well, we'll get ready to read out the grid very shortly. We're just waiting for the final cars to grid up on track.
Looks like we're just waiting for Joshua Walton and Aaron Kelly on the back row there to form up. They do have a time limit to get onto the grid, so they'll be looking at that clock closely, trying to get onto the grid to make this heat.
We'll head through the heat race number 1 of the Race Birch Midgets here on the Australian Speedway Championship night. Bob King will take P number 1 with Joel Berkeley on his outside. On the inside row number 2 will be the 41 of James Robbie with Gavin Sadler in 4th position. The number 6 car will start out of P number 5, Anthony Bland, with Matt Reed out of 6th. 7th in the 77 car will be Aaron Kelly, and 8th your final position with the number 20 of Joshua Walton.
So it looks like Aaron Kelly and Josh Walton may not make this start. The timer is counting down. I'm pretty sure dumping grid is going to be closed very shortly, and we'll see that pace car roll off. As soon as that pace car rolls off, they will be out of this heat, not able to join.
As we know, you are not allowed to exit the pits during the race once the first green flag has dropped. So that looks like then heat race number 1 will be over. That will be very unfortunate for them. They needed those much needed points to get up to the front.
Yeah, not sure what happened. If maybe something happening in time trial with Aaron and Cody, but it doesn't look like they're able to make this start. So we will have a 6-car heat. Look out for that second row, and all GSR second row. Gavin Sadler and James Robbie in front of them. Bob King and Joel Berkeley. This is going to be a ripper of a heat.
It sure will be. Matty Reid in 6th position. He only needs to wait 1 spot, but saying that Anthony Bland, if he loses that 1 spot to him, he'll be out of the main. He'll have to go through the last chance dance to make it happen, as the pace car lights will go off.
So Bailey, do you think Bob King can do it from the front here?
Well, it's really going to depend on the start. He does get to set the pace for when he starts, but if Joel Berkeley can get a great run up the side of him, there's quite a high chance that, well, Joel Berkeley could go around the outside on him. As the pace car will come around for one last time. We've put out the message. Who do you think will win heat race number 1? We've got a response from Adam Reynolds. He reckons Bob King can do it. Sean, what about yourself?
Yeah, I believe Bob and Joel will be battling for it, but I'm going to put the roughie on James Robbie. I think tonight is going to be his night.
We'll see what they can do. The Race Merch Midgets heat race number 1 will get underway. The pace car will peel off. Sean, take it away.
Let's watch for Bob to get a good start. Joel will know he's going to try and do that, so he will anticipate as well. We are green. James Robbie with a great start on the inside of Joel Berkeley going into turn 1. Will he be able to hold it coming out? Bob King with a great start. He is your race leader. Joel Berkeley gets the run out of 2, looks to the high line, but Bob's there to shut that door straight away. They run into turn 3 and 4. Joel gets a little bit locked up through the middle of the racetrack there. Manages to gather it back up, holds your 2nd position. James Robbie in 3rd. Your front 3 cars starting to pull away. James Robbie locks it up, and we have no yellow because it's the heats. Apologies. Anthony Bland was into the wall, manages to keep going, so the race will stay green. Matt Reed currently in 6th. Gavin Sadler is in 5th. James Robbie is in 3rd, and Joel Berkeley 2nd, with Bob King your leader at the moment. The field has started to spread out. Your race is up the front though. Joel Berkeley and Bob King going for position 1 and 2.
Bob King's got about 2 car lengths over Joel Berkeley at the moment. He's just holding his line perfectly. Joel Berkeley gets a bit of a run off the corner. Bit too much power. He's gone right up to the wall, and that one might have hit a little bit. He won't get the run he wants in the turn 1 and 2. He'll have to go high. Try and get the momentum going on these cars. These cars are very short, small. They're very short. If you don't hit those corners right, it can all go wrong, and these cars can tip quite quickly. Bob King now still leading the race over Joel Berkeley. Gavin Saylor didn't get the start. He wanted to drop back to 6th position. He's back up in the 4th position. Matty Reid now holding the 5th position. Just needs to hold that position. He'll get the transfer spot to the A main. Back to you, Sean, with Bob King still out in front.
Cars starting to spread out here. This is evident of the track this evening. It is still very fresh. We don't see much of a black line running through that middle, so the fast line at the moment is where that moisture is at the bottom of the racetrack. So watch for these first few heats to blow that off, and then everyone will have to start looking for that quick line. So we see Joel trying to run the middle through 1 and 2, and we see him getting down real low. It gets into the back wall there. Hopefully that hasn't done any damage to the front end of that car. He just obviously got into the wall there. It was really strange because it was in a straight line.
Still very quick out in front. Bob King leads by about a second and a half over Joel Berkeley. Another second and a half back. James Robbie seeing what he can do on the track. Seconds count, 10th count as we go, still going. About 10 car lengths back now as Joel Berkeley's that lead extends even more. Lap number 8, the final lap of heat race number 1 of the Race Merchant Midgets here at USA International Speedway. Bob King leads them down the back straight for the final time of this heat. In the turn 3 and 4, holding it nice and low on the inside, gets up to the wall. Just runs it off the wall. Heat race number winner, Bob King.
Yeah, great race from Bob King from your pole position. So second was Joel Berkeley, third James Robbie, Gavin Sadler in 4th. 5th position was Matt Reid, and rounding out your 6-car field was Anthony Bland after hitting the wall early in that heat, but still managing to finish. So that'll be good for him. He'll be starting off the front in that B main.
Yep, we'll head over to heat race number 2 of 3 now. As we said, 8 laps of feature. 3 features, not features, heat races. 3 heat races, 1 per driver. As these cars will now get on the grid, we'll get ready to set them grid very shortly. Well, the front row is looking awesome. We'll get through that grid right now as these cars, the pace car will start taking off. 7 cars will take the grid. Out of P number 1 will be Lewis Hewitt with Matt McCutcheon on the outside. Alan Tacken, who's strong in the street stocks, will come out of 3 with Tammy Baston out of 4. Harry Edwards in 5th with Benjamin Ellis in 6th, and Daniel Vassell to round out this 7-car field, all fighting for that top 5 position.
Yeah, no easy heats in this Race Merch Midget Series. Every heat is a battle for that top 5. You cannot relax at all, even though it is only an 8-lap heat.
Well, 2 laps of pacing, so just over a lap to go now. This pace car will peel in for heat race number 2. Well, we're going to send out the message to you guys again. Who do you think will win this heat? Very big names in this one, including Lewis Hewitt. Look out for him. He's in that green car at the front, the TTL car. Matt McCutcheon, he's shown a lot of speed in the previous rounds. He's on the outside. Alan Tacken, well, he could do it on the inside. That inside groove, as we mentioned in heat race number 1, is working at the moment. The pace car light goes off. The track lights go off. We'll send them down the back straight, grid it up. Sean, when we head into turn 3 and 4, it's all yours.
Yeah, let's watch for Lewis Hewitt to do what Bob King did in the last heat, take it out from that first position. But definitely don't rule out Tammy Baston back there, so watch for her to come through as the pace car comes in. We will be green. They need to wait for the green. Everybody anxious, tightens up. We are green. Lewis gets the jump. He'll have the run going down into turn 1. Cuts off the second place car of Matt Matuchin. He gets the run on the inside, but Lewis Hewitt gets the run on the outside. Alan Tacken in 3rd. Harry Edwards, watch for him to come through. He is currently in 3rd. As he gets into the side of Harry gets into the side. That is a spinner on the back straight. Alan Tacken into the wall, and his heat is over.
Still, Hewitt still leads McCutcheon down the back straight in the turn 3 and 4. McCutcheon got up the inside very early on. There's still a few cars up high. They're trying to get that outside groove going now. That includes Tammy Baston and Benjamin Alice. They're doing their best. Bit further down, you can see Tammy Baston and Harry Edwards. They were battling it out too wide going into turn 1 there. That looked pretty good as they were fighting for that 5th position to hold on to it. Benjamin Alice now needs to find his way into that 5th position to make the A main. Lewis Hewitt back up the front now. Still has a consistent lead over McCutcheon. He's got about 5 car lengths over then. Daniel Vassell still another 5 car lengths down the back. Here comes Edwards. He gets a nice run through 1 and 2.
Yeah, while that all is happening, Danny Vassell into that 3rd position. Great to see him make his way up, put himself directly into that A main. He'll be looking to hold on to that 3rd position. Harry Edwards a little bit further back, 4 or 5 car lengths there, so he has a nice cushion back to Harry, but the race is on for that 5th position. Harry looking under pressure from Tammy Baston at the moment.
Lap number 5 of 8 will go to the line for 2 to go. We'll hit lap number 6. Lewis Hewitt will take us over the line now for the Race Merchant Midgets. McCutcheon still driving very strong. They're starting to move up the track now. This track is progressing quite rapidly. The tyres on these ones will start to be wearing down as they hit the slicker lines. But saying that, there's heaps of moisture left in the track, still not as much taken away as the street stock. McCutcheon now will take 2nd position. Lap number 7. 2 to go now. We'll go continue green. There's no yellows in the heat races. Daniel Vassell 3rd. Harry Edwards 4th. Tammy Baston 5th. That will round out your top 5. Benjamin Alice just can't make it into the transfer spot at the moment. Quite a fair bit further down the track.
Bailey, we're currently seeing a very fast racetrack, so very much just hot laps here. Field spread out very evenly. Everyone just able to run whatever line they like and just pull away from the person in front of them. So look for this track to get a little bit tricky. We can start to see that slick line slowly forming now, so definitely by the B and the A main we'll see that line come in as we wrap up this heat.
That race will finish. Lewis Hewitt will take it. The 1st position of that one. Sean, you want to take over the results?
So they match McCutcheon in a 2nd position, 3rd Danny Vassell, Harry Edwards in 4th position, 5th Tammy Baston, Benjamin Ellis will be in 6th position, and Alan Tacken, after hitting the wall on that 1st lap, will be DNF in heat number 2.
Well, Ultimate Dirt TV in the YouTube chat stream was able to call Hewitt to win that one. And, well, he did that very well because he did a brilliant drive out in front, able to pull away from the field quite early on in the heat. And he was able to just sit tight consistently. Now, we'll head over the heat race number 3, our final heat race for tonight in the Race Merchant Midgets. And we'll see MFR now take pole position of this race. Scott Butler. The 94 car will take P number 1. 2nd, Ryan Harris, our driver to watch tonight on the spotlight on the outside. Terry Marwood in the 10 car will start out of P number 3 with Peter Hunnebelt out of 4. Still waiting for a few cars to grid up. Benjamin Hamilton will start out of 5 with Cody Morosky out of 6. 7th will be George Fullerton. 7 car field, Sean, for this one again. 2 won't make the big dance.
Yeah, it's definitely some pressure when you are one of the 2 cars that aren't going to make it the back row there. Definitely looking to get in. George Fullerton currently on the outside looking in, as well as Cody Morsk. So the man they are looking to pass is Brendan Hamilton. So watch for him to run away and hopefully try and keep that 5th position.
Well, we'll continue the tradition. Who do you guys think will win this heat race? And it's a very tight group. There's only there is only 5 cars out on the grid, so 2 of them didn't make the grid. So as long as these 5 cars are able to finish, they will make the dance.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the organisers do here. We may have a similar situation where we jump straight from the heats into the A main, but as soon as that information is brought to the booth, we will relay that to you out there, the fans. So bear with us. We will find out after this heat if we will have a B or if we're going straight to the A.
Well, the front row, Scott Butler, Ryan Harris, our spotlight driver, will take us away. The pace car lights are out. The track lights are out here at USA International Speedway. MFR, TTL, take the front row. We'll head it into turn 3 and 4. Sean, take it away.
Currently, Scott Butler has control of your field. Pace car will pull in. We will wait for the green flag as they all bunch up in anticipation. Very slow start. We are green. Scott gets delayed there. Ryan Harris with a great start on the outside. He will lead going into turn number 1. Scott just missed the start completely there. Falls back to second place. Third place is Terry Marwood. Fourth, Peter Hannibal. Fifth, still Brendan Hamilton.
Cody Mirowski, George Fullerton unable to make the race, but Ryan Harris gets a beautiful start off there off the pole. Scott Butler just got held up a little bit, not sure what was going on there, but he's slotted himself in the second, goes a bit high up the inside. Terry Marwood, they're too wide going off. Scott Butler still gets the better off the corner, gets down the straight, gets a couple car lengths in. The top side starting to come in now. You can see Ryan Harris running that top side beautifully, drops to the bottom. Peter Hannibal and Brendan Hamilton back and forth and fifth. They're having a nice little battle at the moment. Is Brendan Hamilton still trying to make up his many. Oh, upside down goes Hamilton.
He'll be disappointed in that, but that should still give him a start in the main. We'll see how that continues. You know it's going to be a good night when we see Terry Marwood racing as hard as he does. Great to see him getting up on the wheel and giving it a great shot here in heat number 3 of your race merch midgets.
Scott Butler still leads the, is now taking back the lead over Ryan Harris. Terry Marwood now still trying to battle his way through the field, trying to get as many positions up as possible. We're on halfway mark. Lap number 5 of 8 now. Scott Butler takes us in the turn number 1 and 2 up on the high side, gets it really high up on the fence there, just about half a metre off the fence there, so not much room from the fence at the moment.
Yeah, just as we missed that, I just wanted to let everybody know Ryan Harris did have half a lose in 3 and 4, which allowed Scott Butler to drive back through. So a bit unfortunate there. So Ryan Harris just overdriving that car a little bit into the corner, getting sideways and losing that lead.
We mentioned time and time again, it is very, very easy to take these cars and put them on their roof if you don't drive them correctly. They're very, very short cars. If they take in a very long track here, well, it's very tricky. Scott Butler now still leads us in the lap number 7. 2 laps to go here at USA International Speedway for heat race number 3. Butler, Harris, Marwood, Honeybell. Hamilton retired. Cody Mirowski and George Fullerton didn't make the start here. We'll take it in the turn number 3 and 4. White flag will drop here as they pass the line. Ryan Harris needs to pull out a bag full of tricks here to try and get him by this time, but he's got about 6 or 7 car lengths behind.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to get up onto the back of Scott here. Just a great run from Scott once he got out into that lead. Set the quickest time on lap 3, 4 and 6. Managed to pull a little bit of a gap, but we see Ryan try and drive down onto that inside. Gets the run out. Great run out, but couldn't quite get the job done. Scott will be your first place finisher in heat number 3. Ryan Harris in second, Terry Marwood in third, Peter Hannibal in 4th, and your DNF finish was Brendan Hamilton. Well,
if you have a look back at the YouTube chat, Bernie, our cameraman tonight, Bernie Weemers, and our producer, director here at RRTV, was able to pick Butler. He did a wonderful job of that one. Well, unfortunately, a couple of ourselves, including myself, was unable to pick the winner. We'll go to the consolidation now, our last chance to make the big one. Well, the event organisers, Sean, they've decided to bring out 7 cars for this one, and, well, the top 5 will make it to the dance.
So, yeah, 2 cars missing out here, so These guys now just using this as a last chance to get their cars tuned in for that A main. They'll get one last look at this track before they go and do 30 laps around this USA International dirt track.
Unfortunate problem here. Cody Morosky and Aaron Kelly, they're having engine issues at the moment. Those guys are unable to get their vehicles out on track, so the top 5 they will be able to all make it to the main at this point in time. This is kind of another hot lapping session. They don't want to ruin their cars going into the final race, but they want to make sure they're right and make sure their setup, is beautifully set for this one.
Yeah, so it looks like we are going to have a 3-car B main, so everyone will transfer. We just need to let these guys run their 12 laps out. So great session for these guys to now tune their cars, get a feel for the racetrack. They'll know what they need to change before this feature. So in a way, this kind of becomes a little bit of an advantage for them before they go into the A main.
Yeah, saying that, they'll be able to get more knowledge of the track over the guys that haven't raced, say, since Heat 1. They've only been able to watch the race from the spectators' perspective, such as ourselves. These guys will get it first-hand on the track, how the car reacts, how it feels around each of the corners, how it feels over each bump, how it reacts to different lines. So these guys will get quite a massive advantage over the guys in the A main.
Yeah, and for all the viewers sitting out there that think this is obviously just a turn left, 4 corners, pretty simple stuff, being that it is a dirt surface, the changes make you think. They make you make changes to the car. The track is always different each time you go out onto the racetrack. You do not get the same track twice. Even after one heat, it makes huge changes. So, yeah, like you said, the guys in the first heat haven't seen this track for, we're going to have almost 45 laps on this track, so it's going to be hard for them. They're going to be watching to see what these cars do and see if they can dial their cars in from the pit lane. As we go green, very cautious start. Obviously no one wants to get into anyone and damage their cars before the A main. Probably see these 3 cars space out a little bit and then just start running different lines, getting a feel for this track.
Yeah, saying that they still want to make sure they can get up as far as they can on the A grid, so they won't just drop away from the pack, run a few hot laps around here. They will still try and go for that position number 1, because that puts them 3 positions over the guy that finishes 3rd here. There's up high again, all 3 of them. They almost hit the wall there. Tackett at the back there. He even hit the wall there and bounced off it.
Your new race leader, Anthony and Benjamin, battling for position here. It's great racing side by side, really giving each other a little bit of a push and shove here as we see, Anthony have half a lose into turn number 2 there. Loses a little bit of time on Benjamin. Benjamin now your race leader here in the B main.
Yeah, some of our best racing we've seen so far. In the background, hits the inside wall. Alan Tacken, that was a big one. That car looks like it's still going, but at what cost and what damage did he, that one cost, because that one would have hurt the car quite a fair bit. So now going into the rest of this race, you might not be able to get the proper feel for the car you were hoping for.
Yeah, we see him just trying to run that really low line there. It just hooked up on him a little bit. As Benjamin comes very sideways out, and the 2 first and second place positions get into each other, and Alan Tacken takes full advantage and is now your race leader.
Well, these guys are thinking this one's a bit of a fun day, but, Alan Tacken's taking this one serious. He wants his race win for sure, because the other 2 are just trying to get a fair bit of experience. They've got a bit more speed than Alan Tacken off this corner, as this is going to turn into a nice little battle here. We're at lap number 5 of 12.
Yeah, we see Alan again going into turn 3 really low and just clipping that inside fence. So he's still just trying to get his markers set up by the looks of it. He's still just a little bit out, tries to turn in a little bit too early there again, but gets a lot better line through 3 and 4 this time, not so close to that inside wall. three cars still on the track. Alan Tacken is your leader. Benjamin Ellis in second. Anthony Bland in third. You are currently watching the B main of your race merch midgets here tonight. All three cars, as you know, will transfer through to our A main coming up here shortly. We are on lap number 8 of 12.
Very quick lap times out there at the moment. Also, some of the best lap times being Alan Tacken. He threw out a 23.413. Very quick considering the state of the track there, Sean.
Yeah, we can start to see that slick line really coming in now, so that's going to make the drivers start to look for that little bit higher line above the slick, or just try and drive below that slick. As we see now, Anthony trying to make a move on Benjamin. He's looking high, looking low. All these guys just trying to see where they're going to run in this feature race.
Lap number 10 and 12. We've got 3 to run here. Lap 10, 11 and 12. There's second and third. They're still battling it out. That's Bland and Alice. And, well, they're too wide still. They come in the turn 3 and 4.
Quite surprising how far Alan Tacken fell off the back, but then as soon as he got into that lead, he has pulled a massive gap now. So wondering if he was just sitting back there, having a look at where he might think about running, and now he knows where he's running, and he's setting some blistering lap times. His quickest lap time, lap 10, 23.5. So he's definitely got that car dialed in tonight.
Yeah, he goes even quicker at 23.358. White flag goes out on the track now for the consolidation. Our final chance to make the big dance, which all 3 of these cars will. And, well, we'll see what they do over the line. They'll finish this one off. Alan Tacken will take this race win. Anthony Bland will take second, and Alice will take third. If the following 2 cars, Cody Morosky and Aaron Kelly, can make it back, I don't think they will be. I think they can make it to the A main. They might be allowed in by officials, but we'll start gridding up the A main, Sean.
As our B cars head back to the pits, they will have a very quick turnaround, not a long time to get those cars changed if they wanted to make any changes, and back out onto the grid for tonight's A main, which we will run through for you shortly once they form up on the grid.
Strong field of cars here at the moment. Make sure you check us out on facebook.com/RRTV live for all our upcoming broadcast news and event results. We do our best to bring you as much knowledge as possible throughout the week for your your Speedway Dirt Fix, along with all our other series we here broadcast with here. Also check us out on twitch.tv/RRTV live. We broadcast on 3 different platforms: Facebook, YouTube and Twitch, for your guys' viewing pleasures as well. Start to roll through our A-Main grid here. Sean, well, out of P1, Bob King, Lewis Hewitt. That is a strong front row. Second row will be Scott Butler and Berkeley. Again, another very strong row. Matt McCutcheon and Ryan Harris will start out of your third row. Out of 7th will be James Robbie, and 8th will be Daniel Vassell. 9th will be Terry Marwood. Watch him come through the field with Mr. Gavin Sadler in 10th, the 71 car. Those guys can march their way through a field. Harry Edwards at 11th, and Peter Honeybell, will start out of P number 12. 13th, Matty Reid with Tammy Baston at 14th. Brendan Hamilton and Alan Tacken will round out your 8th row. 17th will be Anthony Bled and Alice. They will take the 18 cars. 19 will be Cody Borowski and Aaron Kelly. We're just getting confirmation if those guys made the field.
I can confirm for you, Bailey, Cody Morsk and Aaron Kelly will not be starters in this field, so we will have an 18-car field. Another interesting thing is Danny Vassell given an end-of-line penalty, so he will not be starting this race from 8th, but off the back. Watch for him to come through.
Front row, CMG Sim Racing versus TTL Esports will get these cars underway. pace car truck lights are off. Sean, take it away for the first time the race, Birch Witches.
Here we go. Bob has control. Watch for him to go early. Get on that gas nice and early. We are green. Lewis Hewitt pulls alongside of him. Great start by the front row. But Lewis Hewitt gets into the wall, loses a lot of spots. Big winner out of that was your second place. Yellow on the track.
Wow, Sean, I was surprised there. Hewitt took that 4 wide when he got right up on the wall there. That looked scary, and well, it made it a scary moment.
Yeah, I think the start where he got into that wall made him obviously get back into that pack a little bit, which forced him into that 4 wide position, so not where he wanted to be from the front row. As we go to the replay, let's have a look and see what happened here to cause your first yellow of the night. Joel Berkeley caught up in that as well by the looks of it, your number 14 car, 13 car. He manages to keep going. So just looking at the cause, Matt Reed was in that as well. So yeah, it definitely was that. It just banked everybody up when Lewis got into the wall. He came off the wall and got a little bit squirrely, which pushed Joel down to the inside of the racetrack. Then everyone behind banked up. There was touching everywhere. I don't actually know who caused that. There was a lot of cars into a lot of people there. So a few spinners, definitely some unfortunate people there in that mid-pack.
Well, saying that, Bob King, the favourite for this race, especially for Birdie, behind the cameras, he's currently leading this field. Scott Butler, those two will run this one off, as the pace car lights should come off this time by the track lights also. These cars don't go too wide like the street stocks in this one. So, well, this should be hopefully a bit of a cleaner start. Vassal and Honeybell, they retired this race. So we'll see these cars kick off for the second time this race. Also, Matt Reed retired that race. So we've dropped from 20 cars down to 15 cars, considering the two cars that didn't make it start.
Sorry, Bailey, the big news out of that, Danny Vassal, our championship leader, out for the night. That means at the end of tonight, we will have a new championship leader. As Bob King brings us around, pace car will pull in. He's up nice and high, getting ready to get that launch off. He comes down low, gets the jump on Scott Butler. Matt Machuchin in third, looks on the inside of Scott Butler, and he pull off a slide job. He does. He gets up in front. Great move by Matt Machuchin there. Gets the run back out of turn 2 as we go under yellow again in turn 1. Bailey, turn 1 causing a few issues here tonight for these drivers.
Not only is it causing a few issues for a few drivers, Lewis Hewitt in particular ran that very, very high up on the track, and well, he hit the wall. He was able to get out of the car, out of the server even before he hit anyone, but unfortunately it still brought out the yellow flag. iRacing realised there was a car upside down, and there was cars going by it. They pulled out the yellow flag very, very quickly. So these cars will again grid up behind the pace car for the second time, even for the third time if you count the grid start, as there's still a fair few cars out on the field.
Just having a look at Benjamin Ellis too, coming into one, he slid up very high and went into the wall. He did that all on his own. Bailey, looks like... Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, a bit of confirmation from the race officials. We did get the wrong information. Championship leader Daniel Vassal and Matthew Reed did not actually retire from the race. A bit of controversy happened there when it got spoken short. Well, we're lucky those two are back out there. They will still fight for positions.
We will go around one more time. Matt Matuchin looking really racy there. He's going to want to try and get that run that he got on Scott Butler down into one on Bob King, but I think Bob King's going to be a little bit wiser to that move and just move down there and close that door a little bit earlier than Scott did.
Pace car lights go off, track lights go off. Bob King, Matt Matuchin, Scott Butler, James Robbie, Terry Marwood, Ryan Harris and Gavin Sadler, your 7 as they send them down the back straight. Single file restart here at USA International Speedway for the race merchant midgets. Pace car heads to the turn 3 and 4. Sean will take it away for the 3rd time this race.
We see Bob get right up to that wall so he can get the drive off that darker dirt at the top there. Waiting for it. On the gas, here he goes. Matt Matuchin just misses the start there a little bit. Bob gets a 3-car lead and will lead into turn 1. 3rd position is Scott Butler into the wall, all on his own. We will go yellow again.
Yeah, another car around in the back. Also, there's 2 cars upside down. Pace car will come straight back out on the track once again. Yellow lights out, lap number 9. Ryan Harris, our spotlight driver, has retired from the race. That would hurt him majorly for the championship points.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Ryan Harris there. We will get to see him later tonight in the 410 sprint cars, so he'll go away now, lick his wounds, and get ready for that sprint car feature later tonight.
Yeah, now the number 97, Daniel Vassell has officially retired. He's down pit lane at the moment. He's unable to come back out on track, unfortunately. So that will be his night over and done with. Much needed points for that championship. Well, it's swept out the window at the moment, Sean.
Yeah, it just looks like he's sitting in the pits there. If he can get that car repaired, I do believe you are allowed to come back out under yellow. No full confirmation. He has put that car out into the back of the pits, so he will take no further part in this feature race. Unfortunate there for our championship leader.
Yeah, unfortunately loading that one back up into the trailer. Not a way you want to end it early in the A-Main, especially only a third of the way through, as that will hurt him at his championship points once again very, very harshly. But up the front, Bob King, he's fighting for a championship position at the moment. He's currently going to lead the field once again for the start.
Let's see if Matt can learn off that last start. He knew that Bob slowed him right up there and got the good jump on him, so he'll take that information into this restart. He'll know Bob will try and do the same thing, so watch him to read that a little bit better this time around.
Pace car lights will go off. We'll get ready to set for the 4th time this race. Pace car codes either 3 and 4. King, Matuchin, Marwood, Robbie, Sadler, Baston, Edwards, Hamilton, Tackett, Berkeley. Well, Sean, it's all yours. Take us away for the 4th restart.
Bob King gets a great start. He even jumps before the pace car fully gets into the pit, so he was on it very early, and we see him pull that 2-car length lead again over Matt Matuchin. Terry Marwood in 3rd. We are under yellow as I hear someone else in the back hit that fence going into turn 1. Bailey, it's definitely creating a lot of issues here in turn 1. Not sure the drivers are used to this kind of speed coming into turn 1. We're seeing a lot of them drifting up and hitting that outside wall.
Yeah, going into the wall, trying to get as many down the inside as quick as possible, trying to get down to the bottom, even getting up to the top. They're finding it a very tricky situation for them all.
So we're just having a look here now. Tammy again up high, gets very loose. The crash bar catches the fence, turns her around. She does a 360 and then continues on. So hopefully not much damage on that car, and she'll be able to claw her way back up through this field.
Don't go. Sorry guys, don't go away anywhere. After this race, we'll go to a short break. We'll be back with the WP Concreting 410 sprint cars around this track. They'll reset the track. They'll get the grader back out, fix it up, and then they will have another crack at another race. But for now, we're back to the race virtual midgets. Still a fair few cars out on track. 13 cars still out there.
As the field comes around under pace car here, we have had, I believe, 2 laps of full greens here, so we just need the guys to settle down a little bit, make sure we can get through the first heat. It's exactly what we were seeing earlier in the night in the Down Under Graphics Street Stock series, so people just coming to grip to USA the speed, coming into turn 1, a little bit unfamiliar for the newer guys to dirt.
Pace car lights are off of the track and the truck. Bob King will lead Machuchin, Marwood, Robbie, Sadler. Sadler's had a great night of racing so far. He's looking to back it up for podium or even a win. He's got to fight hard through the field. Watch to see Bob King go early once again. Sure, take us away for the 5th time.
Matt Machuchin trying to get that good start. He does go with Bob this time, but Bob still gets that little bit better drive out of turn 4. Into turn 1 we go. James Robbie trying to make a move on Terry Marwood there. James Robbie high. Terry Marwood holds on to 3rd. Harry Edwards gets past James Robbie as he goes a little bit high into turn 1. We managed to make it through turn 1 and into turn 3 we go.
Yeah, able to complete our first green flag race lap of the race. That was lap number 17. On board at the moment, we get a Brendan Hamilton. He's flying around on the outside, trying to gain as many positions as possible. We get a car around in the back.
Yellow flag again on the racetrack. It is upside down. Benjamin Ellis there in turn number 1.
Just can't get a lap done at the moment. We get a replay of what happened there. He went around the corner. He just looks like he tagged the car. Just getting confirmation of that car. But the number 46 of Matty Reed. He got round sideways next to the 6 and the 23. The 04 car just had nowhere to go. Yeah,
Matt Reid has definitely been in the wars tonight. Not one of his better nights. One of our real-life drivers as well. Runs at Sydney Speedway in the Leader Car Series. Had a great season this year. Just not having a great night tonight.
Been a bit of a yellow fest tonight, Sean. We haven't been able to get many green flag laps. Really only a handful between the 2 series so far. Hopefully we can get a green flag run here. We'll go green on lap number 22 next time. We won't go this next time by, sorry, we'll go the time after that. Bob King will still lead the field. And, well, still got his money on him. Bernie put his money on him earlier on in the race. Ultimate Dirt TV put their money on Hewitt. Unfortunately, Hewitt was out very early in the race. 2nd yellow. And he flipped and that car was done and dusted. Still, a few names out there that can make it done.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate. Terry Marwood having a great run there. He was in 3rd position. Just before that yellow came out, he did have half a loose coming into turn 1. And Harry Edwards and Gavin Sadler were able to get around him. So hopefully this yellow, he'll be able to regroup and try and get back to that 3rd position.
Pace truck lights will go off. The track lights will go off. King, McCutcheon, Edwards, Sadler, Marwood will get ready to send them green again. Field bunches up. We're down to 12 cars.
Bob King up on that high line again, looking to get the drive. He'll come down low. Gets very close through the pace car, actually. He's got such a good early start there as Matt looks to go the inside, tries to pull the slide job, but does not pull up far enough. Bob King will be a leader out of turn 2. Harry Edwards coming on strong now. Loose to the high line. Matt Machuchin for the lead. Bob reads it, goes back underneath. Harry Edwards looking to get a piece of this action, running around up high.
Sadler not too far behind him, along with Joel Berkeley. He's pushed his way back through the field. He's up at the 5th position at the moment. Yellow, yellow, yellow. We've got cars around at the back. Just getting confirmation. We know Tammy Basson's involved. And Matty Reid. Matty Reid just, again, not having the night he is wanting. We go yellow on lap number 23. Head back once again for another replay of that incident to see what happened. We have up, it looks like Bland in the number 6 car went round, and Reedy actually was quite far back in the field. Bland went around and, well, Reed just got involved, and that's very unfortunate for him. Though he was quite far back, he might have been able to get a consistent run going and try to make the speed back, but that's going to hurt him big time. Well, we go to yellow for the 5th time tonight.
Yeah, and as we were talking about it, Matt just not having a good night, getting caught up there yet again. So definitely a night he'll want to remember. We'll see him come out in the 410s tonight and see if he can make amends for his night and put in a good showing. Turn 1, definitely the winner here tonight, as it has caused most of our victims.
Still only a handful of green flag laps this race so far. We'll split the field down to 12. Rob King will take the race away again. Pace car lights will go off this time by, well, Edwards and McCutcheon. They were looking very speedy that time by Sean. They looked like they were going to do a bit of a team battle to get by King.
Yeah, Harry Edwards showing some good speed. Matt trying to put a slider on there for Bob. He did have that lead for a short period of time, but Bob saw it coming, drove back down and got that lead back. So Matt definitely may have something here for Bob. So Bob knows he's going to have to get that start, or Matt's just going to go straight to that bottom line and try and drive underneath him.
King, McCutcheon, Edwards, Sadler, Berkeley, Marwood, Robbie, Taken, Hamilton, Baston. Sean, take us away for the 7th time this race.
So we see Bob back the field up here. He wants to get a really good start. We'll see him get on that throttle nice and early. Matt tries to go with him. Still can't get that drive out of turn 4. He does try to look on the inside, but he's not going to be close enough here. Bob shuts that door straight away, so Matt tries to go around the outside. Have a look at Joel Berkeley around the outside of Gavin Sadler for 3rd position. Sorry, Hadwood Edwards, sorry, the similar cars. Matt gets a little bit half a lose there. Gavin Sadler up into 3rd position. Harry Edwards has fallen back after that half a lose. Joel Berkeley in your 4th position. Matt Matuchin back on. Gavin Sadler up the inside. He has the run on them. They get really close and nearly touch wheels down the back straight. Matt will try and run in low here. Joel tries to make the most of it. They are 3 wide coming out of turn 4. Gavin Sadler with the run on the outside. Joel Berkeley now gets Matt Matuchin and sets his eyes on Gavin Sadler. Meanwhile, Bob King out in front, starting to pull away from this field.
Lap 29 will come to the white flag, this time by right so far. At the moment, Gavin Sadler, he's flying out there at the moment. Joel Berkeley, he's fighting his way through. He's dropped behind the 2 teammates at the moment. Bob King on the final lap. Oh, Gavin Sadler goes sideways. Can't exactly pinpoint exactly which car that one was, but he'll drop back now to 5th position, even 6th position. That one hurt him big time at the moment. He looked like he was going to get a 2nd place finish. 1st place for you tonight was Bob King.
Oh, big battle back for 3rd there. Joel Berkeley got into the side of, I think it was Matt Matuchin, sorry, on the inside. Matt got very squirrely coming out of turn number 4. Joel Berkeley tried to get the run on him, and those 2 collected. And the big winner out of that was Harry. Matt managed to get 2nd, Harry 3rd, but Joel Berkeley slipped down to 7th after getting tangled with Matt Matuchin coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, that one would have hurt the championship points. We continue to say it time and time again. Championship points. Hurts him quite badly, especially over the line when you had a podium locked in there. Joel Berkeley was flying. He, well, got past Gavin Sadler once he had a bit of a mix-up, and he was up there. Sorry, excuse me, but dropping back to 7, that's hurting quite massively.
Let's go through your race results for tonight. Bob King is your winner with a nice 3-second lead there at the end. Matt Matuchin in second. Harry Edwards is your podium finisher here tonight. Tammy Baston, great drive after being in the back, driving up to 4th position. 5th position will be Gavin Sadler after trying to hold on to that podium and losing it in that last lap. 6th position, Terry Marwood. Great solid drive by him here tonight. Joel Berkeley, after that unfortunate incident, falling back to 7th. Brendan Hamilton in 8th position. 9th position will be Anthony Bland. Alan Tacken in 10th. 11th position is James Robbie. Your non-finishers for the night: Matt Reed, Benjamin Ellis, Scott Butler, Ryan Harris, Danny Vassell, Lewis Hewitt, Peter Hannibal, and obviously your non-starters, Cody Morsk and Aaron Kelly. Well, Bailey, turn 1 again tonight, proving to be a little bit of a drama for these drivers.
Yeah, it was very, very deadly again in that race. We only saw a handful of green flag laps, unfortunately. And, well, that would have hurt a fair few of the cars further back down in the pack. Well, we'll get involved. We'll chat to Bob King. Bob King was, well, he led that race from start to finish. And we'll bring him into the commentary box, have a chat to him. G'day, Bob. Welcome to the RRTV commentary box. We're here down in pit lane with you. What a race win for you today.
Yeah, it was a bit of a caution fest, but other than that, yeah, glad to come away with the win.
Yeah, really good drive off the cautions there. You were able to get away really early, but sometimes beating the pace car across the pit wall entrance there. You got away from Matt Matuchin and Harry Edwards pretty quickly, and it kind of cemented down that first quarter for you.
Yeah, you sort of got to try and get as big a gap as you can at USA, and if you are going to leave the bottom open, be ready to back off and go back under them, or have enough of a gap to hold the top, basically.
Yeah, well, those guys at the end, well, two cautions before the end, those guys were really on your tail there. They were working together. They were pushing themselves around and out the outside of you, pushing you up the inside. Almost went 3 wide at one point. How'd you feel then?
Yeah, it was close racing. I really just didn't have a green flag run just to move around the track enough to find where the speed was, move back to the bottom, and yeah, I don't think anyone had anything for me down there.
Yeah, well, a car setup comes into play around such a long track. How do you find the long straights and the quick turns with such a short car and a quick car?
Yeah, they're definitely a handful at USA. When it starts to get a bit rough, you feel like you're soaring at the steering wheel a little bit, but yeah, sometimes it's a bit of luck the way the car bounces, but just try and keep it in a straight line most of the time.
Yeah, you've done a wonderful job tonight. Will you be back up in the sprint cars tonight?
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see if we can go for the double, hey?
No worries. Before we let you go, Bob, would you like to thank any sponsors?
Yeah, the guys at Synergy Sim Racing, Trackstar Racewear, and the Speedway Shop. I couldn't do without all your support. Yeah. And obviously you guys for broadcasting, and ASL putting it on.
No worries. That was Bob King, BK. He took out the race merch midgets for tonight's here at USA International Speedway. Well, Sean, we're getting ready to head into the WP Concreting sprint cars. And, well, it's going to be a good race. While we get everything set up for that one, we're going to head over to a short, quick ad break. So we'll see you guys after the ad break.
final time. Once again, photo finish here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMerit at the line.
Hi there folks, welcome back to WRTV's live coverage of the Australian Sprint Car Championships, WP Concreting to be exact. My name's Bernie Weemers, I'm filling in for Bailey Hall. As you could tell, his voice was, well, he was under the weather basically, Sean.
Yeah, he was starting to get a bit croaky towards the end there. Did a great job for commentating through that. So huge effort for him, and obviously thank you to him, and welcome to the booth tonight for your first time, Bernie.
Yeah, I hope I can keep up with it, that's for sure. But let's see how it goes. And I'm just having a look out there. We've got a big field once again, probably well over 20 cars and climbing. Hopefully we'll see a lot of them actually get to the track tonight.
Yeah, we've seen a bit of issues through the night in the street stocks and the midgets previously, so a few people with technical gremlins and not being able to get to the track. We saw the three-car B main, so hopefully that's all settled down now and we can see some really great racing through the heats, the B main and the A main.
Yeah, for sure. And coming into this, might as well go through the point score. Did you want to take the viewers through that?
I certainly can, Bernie. So your Sprint Car Championship for Australian Speedway League Championship, your first position placed is Bob King on 580 points. The biggest gap we can see in all of these series, 36 points back to Joel Berkeley in second position. James Robbie is in third position on 486 points. Cody Morsk is in fourth position, and your top five, Aaron Kelly, is in fifth position. We see Daniel Vassell in sixth position, Lewis Hewitt in seventh, Gavilan Sadler in eighth, ninth sees Daniel Gow, and in 10th, Brett Gerards staying in that top 10 position.
Yeah, fantastic. And having a look at the weather here tonight, folks, we'll see if it's actually cooled off. It's 21.1 degrees Celsius, pretty much the same as what it was earlier today. Overcast, absolutely no wind, the way the drivers would like it. And we should be in for some good racing.
Yeah, certainly the format tonight, we are now watching hot laps on the track. We currently have just over 6 minutes left of that, which will see us then lead into time trials where each driver will get 5 minutes and only have 3 laps to set their quickest times. We then move into the heats where we will have 3 heats, each heat consisting of 10 cars, and they will be 8-lap heats. We will take the top 5 and put them directly into our A main. If you're unlucky enough to not make that top 5, you will go into our B main, which will be 12 laps, and we will probably take, generally we take 4 or 5 out of that. We will confirm once that number is confirmed from the heats. That then brings us into our 30-lap feature where we will see the 410s run around USA International Dirt.
Yeah, and earlier tonight, folks, we've seen the street stocks having a lot of yellows under the A main, and again in the last race we saw the dirt midget drivers having similar issues. So hopefully we're going to see the sprint cars in the A main having a good, hard, fast and long race. Well, long, you know what I mean, green.
Long green flag stints. Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to that tonight. The other 2 categories haven't seen a lot of green flag running, so hopefully tonight with the wings on these cars now, the drivers will be able to tune them on the go. They're actually allowed to move those big wings at the top forwards and backwards to change the balance of these cars. So hopefully we'll see those drivers trying to do that and trying to get through turn number 1, because it's definitely turn 1 that's causing us the issues here tonight, Bernie.
Yeah, definitely. So when they move those wings, what are they actually looking for by moving it back or forward?
So with the wings, we're looking for that weight transfer. So we're looking to put more weight either onto the front of the car or onto the back of the car. So usually you want to run more to the back to keep those rear wheels stuck to the ground. Obviously 900 horsepower. They are a beast of a machine to try and keep those rear wheels from buzzing, is what we call basically spinning when you enter those corners. So that's what the drivers will be looking for, moving those wings back as far as they can without losing their turn in.
Fantastic, so we'll keep an eye on that. We can see Bob King, he was interviewed earlier just after taking out the dirt midgets. He's going 2 for 2 tonight, folks, so let's see how he goes with that. But having a look at the top 5 as they stand, Bob King in the practice, he's sitting provisionally on first. Joel Berkeley second fastest, Carl Hoffman third, fourth Dale Jordison. Rounding out your top 5 in practice is Aaron Kelly.
Drivers just getting a feel for this track now. It does look like it has started the night a little bit drier, so we did have the tractor out here, but it doesn't look like they have put water on this track. They have just done a great and just made it a little bit more presentable, cleaned it up a little bit smoother, so we should see this track blow off a little bit quicker and see that high line come into effect when everybody has to start running away from that slick line.
Yeah, I'm definitely, as we see Joel Berkeley into the fence there, definitely looking forward to see how this track does change over the this event and see if that high line does come in. And I guess if the sprint cars are going to make it work, well, they're the ones that'll do it. Gee, I'm rusty tonight.
Yeah, without a doubt, Bernie, the rear wheels on these cars being such a large diameter, they do move a lot of dirt. They do draw a lot of moisture out of the track, and as soon as that moisture is drawn out of the track, it moves up to the top as dust, which is what will cause our cushion up there. So we will see a very dramatic track change tonight with the 410s, more than we've seen with the street stocks. Obviously, road tyres, very narrow. They don't do much to the track. And the midgets with those smaller tyres can't quite make as much change to the track as these 410s can.
Yeah, definitely. And tell you what, we've got 26 drivers out there tonight. So just reading off the total entry list. Bob King, Joel Berkeley in the number 9. We've got Carl Hoffman out there in the number 3. Dale Jordison, he's going to enter tonight in the number 27. We've got Aaron Kelly in the room. Lewis Hewitt, Mitchell Gee, Dylan Sharman, Ryan E.B. Harris, our spotlight driver tonight. Jock Goodyer in the number 77. We've got Cody Morosk out there, probably pronounced that incorrectly. Scott Butler, John Schultz, Anthony Bland, Gavin Sadler, James Robbie, Tammy Bastian rejoins in the sprint cars, Billy Ryan, Brendan Hamilton, Terry Marwood, Daniel Gow, Matt Reed, Kyle Stevens, Joshua Walton, Daniel Page and George Fullerton. I can't see Danny Vessel anywhere out there.
No, just having a quick look through, it doesn't look like he's made it into the server at the moment, so may have called it a night after that performance in the Dirt Midgets.
Yeah, he had a pretty rough trot in the Dirt Midgets, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely very harsh on himself. He would have taken that to heart, especially with how well he was doing in the championships. Not sure what happened to him in the 410s. We'll see if we can get some information back and find out what's happened.
One thing I'm quite surprised about is a lot of drivers tonight have got themselves in a lot of trouble out there. I thought this circuit would have been friendlier on them, but obviously it's not the case. We've seen, especially in the A-main, a lot of action coming into turn 1, and which is probably the majority of where the yellows have been coming out tonight.
Yeah, it's just testament to the series and the caliber of drivers here as well. I mean, they know they have to push. They're driving extremely hard to try and make up those positions. In the earlier races, we saw that the only quick line around the track was that inside line. So everybody knew they had to be there, and they had to be there first. So it was a very hotly contested part of the racetrack, and obviously 3 cars don't go into 1.
No, that's exactly right. You can see a few of the drivers back in pit road down there, just getting the cars sorted for qualifying, sorry. And we're about to start that, Sean.
We are. Just an update on Dan Vatzel. Unfortunately, real-life race cars are getting in the way at the moment, so he's going to try and make it into the server, but just trying to get those real-life cars set up.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll see if he does actually make it, but you can see the cars coming out now to set their qualifying laps. 3 flying laps they get here, and we'll see exactly who gets to the top of the board by the end of this session.
Yeah, we're seeing the cars coming out early. We know that they need to get these laps done quick. Being longer laps, they have to get those 3 in early. You've got to make sure you don't touch any of those walls, even a light scrape, and if you get a 0 contact, your lap will not count.
Yeah, definitely, and I tell you what, the pressure's on, isn't it, when you come to these 3 flying laps?
Yeah, and that's where the top guys become and stay at the top. They know how to put that quick lap time down in this short period of time. So they just get out there, they get their head into that mode, they're in qualifying mode, and they lay down those quick times.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just restarting the overlays here, folks. Bear with me. We'll definitely have the qualifying standings up very shortly so we can go through them.
It's certainly a USA thing here tonight, gremlins everywhere. As we see Joel Berkeley with your quick time, he goes to the top of your timesheets with an 18.541. Second is Lewis Hewitt, followed by Bob King, Dylan Sharman, Jock Goodyer, and your top. Jock Goodyer in your top 5.
Can see Bob King out there, 3rd fastest at the moment. Just having a look who else is out. There's quite a few cars out there at the moment. Can see Gavin Sadler. He's also out. No, he's stopped. My goodness me. Okay, we can see Anthony Bland out there at the moment doing his run. 12th fastest at the moment as he's coming through to set his final lap. He just keeps it off the wall as he gets across the line. Does he improve? It doesn't look like he has.
Daniel Gow to sixth position with an 18.841. Knocks Ryan Harris down to seventh position. Scott Butler in eighth. Tammy Baston in ninth. And your top 10, Carl Hoffmans.
We've still got a few drivers that come out to set times here, folks. It's having a look at them. I'm expecting Aaron Kelly to be out there. Daniel Page will also come out to set a time.
Mitchell Gee still to set a time. He is currently on the track now. Oh no, all 3 laps have not counted, so looks like he's rubbed the wall there on each of his 3 laps, so no time will be recorded for Mitchell Gee.
And we've got Matt Reid out there at the moment. He's 13th fastest, and we'll see if he can improve on that. And I tell you what, the pressure's on, isn't it? We've seen that with a few drivers getting into trouble as Matt there runs it up very high. He comes across the line now and doesn't look like he's going to improve.
Jock Goodgie here, looks like he has a lap up his sleeve, but he has run wide into turn 1, and that will put an end to his night. So 5th will be the best Jock Goodgie can do here. So looks like some of these drivers just trying to still use this qualifying session to get a feel for the racetrack and just dial that car in that last little bit before we get into the heats here.
We've got Tammy Bastion out there setting another time into the wall heavily. 9th fastest. This lap will not count. I'm not sure if she's got any more up her sleeve or if that's going to be the best she can do.
Your current top 5 at the moment: Joel Berkeley, Lewis Hewitt, Bob King, Dylan Sharman and Jock Goodyear. Some familiar names at the top there, Bernie.
Yeah, it certainly is, and a few drivers having a bit of trouble out there as well. Matt Reid's one of them, and Terry Marwood, he's down a long way as well in 22nd. George Fullerton, 23rd. James Robbie, 17th. So a few drivers with a lot of work to do here tonight.
Yeah, definitely look for some of those guys to come up through the field and try and get into the feature here. So we will be taking 5 cars from each of the 3 heats here tonight.
Yeah, and the drivers will be lining up very shortly to start Heat 1 here tonight, folks. And strap yourselves in. Hopefully we're going to be in for a great race. Well, there's no yellows up until the A main, so if they ditch it here, then they're going to pretty much be out of Heat 1. Just waiting for them to line up. We've got 9 drivers here tonight, folks, and we'll take you through the grid very, very shortly.
Looks like we're just waiting for Ryan. He has just joined the grid, as well as Cody Morsk. So we will run through your grid here tonight. In first position, Joel Berkeley. In second position, we have Dylan Sharman. Third position sees our spotlight driver, Ryan Harris. Fourth position, Carl Hoffmans. Fifth place, Matt Reid. Cody Morsk will be starting out as 6th. 7th will be John Schultz. Terry Marwood will be out of 8th position. And 9th sees Billy Ryan starting off the back row.
Yeah, so nice big field here, and we'll be racing very shortly. 8 laps here for the first race, and I'll tell you what, TTL are on the front row, 1 and 2. They're going to be looking at trying to keep their cars there as well. Looking further back though, is there any drivers there, Sean, that you think can actually take it to these guys?
Yeah, certainly. Ryan Harris, obviously being our spotlight driver, but sitting in third there, he does have the car pace. He just needs to keep that head in check and make sure he doesn't do anything silly. And I think he'll be able to run with them here. I don't know if he'll have a full answer for them, but I'm pretty sure we can watch him run with them. Matt Reid, obviously being our real-life driver, expect to see him come up and try and move forward a little bit. He won't like sitting in that 5th position, being the last transfer spot.
Yeah, so we'll definitely keep a close eye on that. Pace car lights are out here, folks, so we're going to go racing very soon. I'll hand it over to you, Sean, to start to call the action here.
Yeah, no team orders on this front row, that's for sure. Dylan Sharman and Joel Berkeley will bring this field around as the pace car comes into the pits. We will be going on the green flag on the track. Great start by Joel. Dylan gets us just good start, pulls alongside, very squirrely going into turn 1. All these cars, very hard to get the power down on that front straight. Joel Berkeley is your leader on the inside of Dylan Sharman. Looks like Ryan Harris. Dylan Sharman up into the wall.
Yeah,
keeps it going.
Dylan's really struggling, isn't he? But at the moment it's Berkeley. He's getting quite a handy lead there. Then we've got Ryan Harris up into second. He's been challenged now by Carl Hoffman, looking to go on the inside of him. Is he going to try and undercut here? He's not. But Cody Morsk here, he does. He does a slide job on the number 12, 3 wide down the front straight here.
Ryan Harris slides it in underneath of Cody Morsk, runs it up high, tries to get that drive out. He's looking to, gets a little bit squirrely. They just about touch, but managed to get away with it as Cody Morsk comes back underneath Ryan Harris. Ryan Harris up into the fence and keeps it going just there. It'll have rear end damage. Needs to watch out, gets out of the way. Very good driving there.
Yeah, Billy Ryan at the moment in the number 33. He's in the last of the transfer in 5th position here. He's got Matty Reid trying to close in on him, about 3 car lengths. Then we've got Terry Marwood sitting in 7th, 8th, John Schultz, Ryan Harris. He is in the pits and out of this one.
Joel Berkeley has checked out. He is out of here. Carl Hoffman's in 2nd, Cody Morsk in 3rd. I don't think they're going to have an answer for Joel Berkeley. He is out in front. Dylan Sharman trying to come back, but again, gets into that outside wall. Definitely struggling with that car setup here tonight.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to do some work on that at the end of this heat. He's struggling big time now. We've got Billy Ryan coming around the outside of him. He takes him. Dylan's going to have to watch himself because he's got a lot of handling issues here, and if he messes up again, he's going to find Terry Marwood all over the back of him.
Yeah, Terry having a great run tonight. Definitely seeing it being very racy. Now, for everybody out there obviously wondering why Joel Berkeley is so far ahead and Dylan Sharman obviously in the back being teammates there. The setups, obviously they try and help each other with those setups, but when it comes down to driver personality, each setup does have a different personality. So looks like Dylan may have just out-tuned that car a little bit, whereas Joel has got this setup spot on for his driving style tonight.
Yeah, well, when Dylan takes the low line there, the car's looking really good, but the high line, that's where I think he's struggling. And we can just see there he's starting to get the hang of the car as the race is finished here. So looking at your race standings, Joel Berkeley takes the win. Carl Hoffman 2nd, 3rd was Cody Morsk. So what,
4th position, Billy Ryan. Sorry, I'll go through the rest of the field, Bernie. 5th position, Dylan Sharman. Terry Marwood in 6th. Matt Reid 7th. 8th, John Schultz. And Ryan Harris in 9th.
Yeah, so we've got the field lined up here, folks. We'll take you through that grid now. Starting from the inside row 1, Lewis Hewitt. Jock Goodyear, he'll start on the outside of him in 2nd. 2nd row, we have Dale Jordison in 3rd. Scott Butler will start on the outside of him. James Robbie, now my telemetry's going all over the place. Who we got in 4th there?
4th position is Dale Jordison, followed by 5th position, Gavin Sadler. James Robbie will be starting out of 6th position. 7th will be Joshua Walton. George Fullerton will be starting out of 8th, and Aaron Kelly will be off your back row in 9th position.
So another big lineup here. And looking at this lineup, I'm not familiar with a few of them, but I'm going to go for Hewitt in this one.
Yeah, Lewis Hewitt off the front. Jock Goodyear in 2nd there. So one of our real life drivers, I wouldn't put it past him to be able to get past Lewis. Scott Butler's been having a great run tonight, so to see him in 3rd there is not surprising. So any one of those 3 can get up here and win this heat, I believe.
Yeah, and they've got to make sure they get through, don't they? The top 5 go through. Looks like They're still sorting themselves out in the back here, but looks like Gavin Sadler, he's going to start out of the 5th position, and he will not want to drop any positions from there.
No, he is in the final position of transfer. Alongside him, James Robbie in that 6th position. So as we can see, these cars, such a handful in a straight line, so that's why we are seeing some interesting accidents coming into turn 1. So let's see how these cars handle off the start here again for heat number 2. As we go green, Lewis Hewitt gets the run. Jock Goodyear around the outside, but Lewis will get the run through the middle of the track. Jock Goodyear with the run up on the high line. He will be your race leader coming out of turn number 2.
Fantastic, making that high line work. We've got Lewis Hewitt now also going to the high line. Scott Butler, he's sitting in 3rd position. Dale Jordison 4th. Rounding out your top 5 is James Robbie. He is on the bubble.
James Robbie battling with Gavin Sadler back there, looking at that final transfer position. Such a big thing tonight as we see Lewis Hewitt trying to make that inside work, looking to get a run on Jock Goodyear. Jock Goodyear touches the outside wall coming out of turn 4. That allows Lewis Hewitt to come up. We'll slide up in front, but we'll see Jock pull back down. Lewis, a little bit sideways. He's going to hit the inside wall and rolls over. That will be the end of Lewis Hewitt's night.
Yeah, it's all started there. When he did tried to do that slide job there, he actually got caught up into the fence on the outside. I suspect he's bent his steering, which is why he's gone into the inside wall there. But your leader at the moment is Jock Goodyear. He's got a handy lead now, but then it's all on behind him. We've got Dale Jordison also up into the wall, or is that Scott Butler into the wall? Which means Dale Jordison, he goes through to 2nd. 3rd is James Robbie on the move. 4th is Gavin Sadler, and Scott Butler now moves into that all-important 5th position. Lap 5 out of 8 here, folks.
James Robbie starting to roll around that high line, looking to make a move on, I think that is in front of him, Dale Jordison. So looking very racy here tonight as he goes up and around the top. Can he make it stick? They touch wheels going down the straight line. And James Robbie high.
Yeah, and he's got Dale Jordison on the inside. Looks like James is going to make that move stick. He does. Gavin Sadler now up into 4th position. Scott Butler still sits in 5th. He's got a nice big gap now over Joshua Walton, so he just has to finish this now. We're coming up to the last lap. It's all Jock Goodyear here, and then James Robbie, then Dale Jordison. And yeah, they're well and truly spread out now, Sean, as we come into the final lap.
Yeah, definitely. We're seeing that high line being the line to go quick, but we are also seeing it very bitey out of the corner, so you need to be really on it, otherwise it will turn you into the wall. As we see James Robbie just playing it safe, runs around the top and then goes right to the middle of the track coming out. So that's going to be something to watch, because if you bounce into that outside wall, the only way to go is back down, and when there's more cars on the track, there will definitely be someone on the inside.
Yeah, so we'll take you through the top 3 there. I almost got to read it and then they disappeared.
Jock Goodyear in 1st position. 2nd is James Robbie. 3rd, Dale Jordison. Gavin Sadler in 4th. And your transfer is Scott Butler in 5th position.
So looking at the 2nd heat here, folks, we've got Bob King. He'll start on the inside of row 1. Daniel Gow on the outside of him. Row 2 tonight, we have Tammy Bastian and Anthony Bland on the outside of her. Looking further back, Kyle Stevens and Benjamin Ellis. Then we have Brendan Hamilton and Daniel Page starting in the number 8th position. And rounding out your field of 9, it's going to be Mitchell Gee.
Tell you what, Bernie, very strong front 3 here, as well as Anthony Bland. He's been having a great run tonight. So these front 4 definitely going to be racing very hard in this heat number 3.
Yeah, definitely. And here's a question for you. Starting out of 1st or 5th, where do you think you're going to feel the most pressure from at the start of this race?
Pressure for the front row?
Your pressure to get through.
Oh, the pressure's going to be all the way through. I mean, these heats, the names in these heats are amazing. I mean, you make one mistake and you are falling out of that top 5. So definitely the pressure from that front row is definitely intimidating. But that second row, look for them to come through as well.
Yes, the teammates once again, first and second starting out of here. I'm sure there's no team orders. Bob King on the inside, Daniel Gow on the outside. There goes my voice.
Pace car brings us around. The lights are out. We will be going green this time around. Front row of teammates yet again. Same as in the first heat. In the third heat, we now have teammates again. Daniel Gow and Bob King. Such a slow pace. These guys will be chomping at the bit to go.
Yeah, just waiting for the pace car to come in now. It will be in. Bob King will lead them away. Gow goes, but King gets a great start there. All of a sudden, we've got Tammy Bastion there in the third, taking the low line. Can she make that work as she comes through? It's too wide here with Gow and Bastion. Bastion working the low line. Gow the high line, which is quicker. We think it's a high line, but looks like Tammy's done it because Gow's up in the wall.
Yeah, Gow again. We've seen that happen to Dylan in the last one. Joel run away with it, Dylan into the fence. Now we've seen Bob run away with it and Daniel into the fence. So that's some interesting here tonight. Just that high line, like I said, the fast way to be, but you have to be on your game to run that high line.
Yeah, and Gow's out. He's parked it for this heat. So your top 3, Bob King leads Bastion in second, Kyle Stevens third. Then we have Mitchell Gee fourth. Right on the bubble at the moment is Brendan Hamilton. He's coming under pressure now from Benjamin Ellis.
Don't worry, Daniel Gow fans, we will see him later in the night. He will be in your B main starting from one of the front rows most definitely. So don't count him out for an A main start just yet.
Meanwhile, Bob King, he has run away with this at the moment. Looking from the wide camera, you can see that gap back, folks. It's a good, probably about 8 car lengths back to Bastion. She's looking good there and at the moment safe in second. Then we've got Kyle Stevens, Mitchell Gee. They are still trading blows here for the second, third position. Gee has the upper hand, but here comes Stevens back on the inside.
Kyle Stevens battling it out for third and fourth position at the moment. Definitely looks like we've got 2 lanes here. The outside just looking to be that little bit quicker, but being that it is that little bit of a high risk, it is almost worth running that low line as we see Kyle Stevens getting that right rear up into the wall, loses more positions, and he is now out of that transfer spot.
Yeah, so the person in that transfer spot at the moment is Kyle Stevens in 5th position. Behind him, I'm just trying to see, is Brendan Hamilton. So a few more cars that bite the dust, so to speak. But at the moment, final lap here, it's going to be Bob King all the way, followed by Mitchell Gee in second. We have lost Tammy Bastion. So looking at your full race standings here, folks, Bob King takes the win, Mitchell Gee second, third, Benjamin Ellis fourth, Anthony Bland, Kyle Stevens fifth, Brendan Hamilton sixth, Bastion 1 lap down in 7th, 8th Page, and 9th is Daniel Gow.
Yes, that high line definitely proving to be a challenge here tonight. So anybody looking to move up through this B main feature, we will be taking 5 cars from this feature into the A main. So they are going to have to look at working that high line to get up through the field.
Yeah, definitely. And with the standard of drivers we have here tonight, they cannot afford to make those sort of mistakes in these heats.
Let's have a look at your B main lineup for WP Concreting 410 series here tonight for your Australian Speedway League Championship. Off the front row of your B main will be Terry Marwood. In second position will be Josh Walton. Brendan Hamilton will be starting out of third position. Matt Reed will be out of fourth. In fifth position, we will have Lewis Hewitt. Sixth position sees Tammy Baston. Seventh will be John Schultz. George Fullerton starting out of 8th, Daniel Page out of 9th, and Ryan Harris, our spotlight driver, out of 10th. 11th will be Aaron Kelly, and off the very back row, Daniel Gow. Do not count him out yet.
So this is our B main, I'm assuming, because we've got 12 laps to go.
B main, that is correct.
Can tell how much I call the Speedway, but anyway. So the pressure's going to be on here to see who goes through to the A main. And I'll tell you what, Tammy, she's probably kicking herself from the last heat, but she's got to now just focus on looking forwards in this this A main and try to get through.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, you can't change what's happened. You need to look forward now. You're at least got a chance to be in the B main. You're starting relatively up the front, so it's a good chance of getting that 5th position. So it's all about eyes forward, concentrate, and just make it through to that A main.
And speaking of 5th position, it's Lewis Hewitt. We saw him crashing out of his heat. He's going to want to get into that A main if he possibly can. We know he's got the speed. It's just a matter of whether he can keep that number 25 out of trouble and get into the top 5 positions here.
Some big names in this B main that we will look to come through the field and try and make that A main. If they do not make it, there will be some big disappointments.
They certainly will, and tell you what, the racing's hard, the racing's fast here tonight, folks, and stick with us because there's still a lot more action. Safety car lights are out, and well, pace car, sorry. Terry Marwood's going to lead them away tonight, and we've got Joshua Walton on the outside of him. Here we go, green flag, we are underway here. Nice clean start. Terry was a bit slow getting away as he takes it, Reed up into Walton there, but they sort themselves out and they continue on. They've got further down Lewis Hewitt on the inside. He's moved up to 4th. He's got Bastion on the outside of him, taking the very high line. In the background, a car has hit the fence, and I think that might have been Ryan Harris.
Lewis Hewitt making the low line work. We see him change straight back up to that high line to get the run on Terry. They crash. Terry goes high, doesn't realise Lewis is there, and that's going to take both of them out of this B main.
Quite an upset already at lap 2 here, folks, and Brendan Hamilton is leading this race fairly comfortably. Second is Schultz. We've got Walton there, tried to go low, washed out, went high. He's dropped down a position, and Aaron Kelly also trying to challenge him on the inside here. Bastion also in this, sitting in 5th position. Nice big gap back to Matty Reid.
Yeah, Bernie, as we watched Lewis Hewitt and Terry get involved there, Josh Walton from the lead ran into that wall and lost a lot of momentum, but now we see him starting to work that high line and come back up, takes 2nd position off John Schultz. John Schultz answers back down low, but I don't think he's going to have any answer out of the corner. Josh Walton back into 2nd position.
Yeah, that low line's just not working, isn't it? As we see the number 18 that try the low line and goes high in front of Tammy Bastion there, and she's in 5th position at the moment, but it's not settled as we have these 3 cars going for it. We've got the 78, that's John Schultz, and then we've got Bastion, as we said, and I think Aaron Kelly is also involved in that, trying to hang on to Joshua Walton. He's slowly pulling away from these 3.
Yeah, your top 5 battling really hard here. This may allow Matt Reid into the fray in 6th position, so he's looking to try and make that A main as well. A big task ahead of him. We are on lap 7 of 12, just past the halfway mark.
And meanwhile, Brendan Hamilton's leading this race, as we were saying, but looking back further, now we've got Bastion up into 2nd position. A fantastic drive, now hunting down the leader, Josh Walton, making that high line work in the number 20 in 3rd. Aaron Kelly still going for that low line. Doesn't seem to be the line that is working, but now he goes back into the high line. And then further back in 5th is John Schultz. Matt Reid trying to close in, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it with 3 laps to go. Bastion now takes the lead.
Sorry, Bernie, I was just about to say challenge for the lead. Tammy Baston up high. Brendan Hamilton still trying to make that low line work, but doesn't make it work. Tammy Baston now in the lead, and commanding a lead just after one lap of being in the lead.
Yeah, Bastian absolutely on fire around here. We don't want to give him the commentator's curse, but Bastian taking the lead here now. Hamilton under threat from Walton. Walton takes a high line, 93 low line. Is Walton going to get it? He does. He runs around, closes it off. Hamilton now back on the inside, but I think the number 20 is going to hold on to second. 11 or 12 laps remaining, completed here.
Yeah, as we come around, we will get the white flag. That was very safe driving there by Brendan Hamilton. He knew that wasn't the quick line, but he knew if he ran high, he had the risk of going into the wall and possibly missing that A main. So smart driving there just to run around the outside, not get battled up with Joshua or Tammy, and we'll see him go through to the A.
Matty Reid at the moment, he's up to 5th as we see, was that Walton into the fence? It was, and that's because we finished. So let's have a look at the final positions here. Tammy Bastian takes the win, Hamilton 2nd, 3rd, Schultz 4th, Reid. Well, they're all going over the place now, so I think Hewitt, no, I don't know.
No, Joshua wasn't. That was on the final corner, so he did not cross the line. This is what I was talking about, Brendan playing it smart. Joshua has missed the main by not finishing and hitting the wall on that last turn. Such heartbreak for him.
Yeah, my telemetry's all over the place here, so you might want to go through the top 5 because, yeah, if you can.
Tammy Bastian is your winner of your B main. 2nd place, Brendan Hamilton. John Schultz in 3rd position. 4th will be Lewis Hewitt. We'll see him make a start in the A. And Matt Reid, after the unfortunate crash of Joshua there, making it into the A main.
Yeah, the fireworks are going off, folks, and you know what that means. We're going to have fireworks for the A main, and we're going to have fireworks hopefully on the track. Let's see if we can actually have some good, hard, long green flags here tonight. We've seen the street stocks and the dirt midgets having quite a lot of trouble in their A mains, and hopefully we're going to have some awesome racing here. Still waiting for them all to grid up, and then Sean, you can take them through the grid.
So your A main for your WP Concreting 410 Sprint Car Series sees Joel Berkeley off the front row. In 2nd position, we have Jock Goodyear. In 3rd position, we have Bob King. In 4th position, sees Carl Hoffman. James Robbie will be in 5th. 6th is Mitchell Gee. Cody Morsk will be out of 7th position. 8th position will be Dale Jordison. Benjamin Ellis will be out of 9th. 10th will be Billy Ryan. Gavin Sadler, yet again, just outside that top 10 in 11th position. 12th will be Anthony Bland. Dylan Sharman, look for him to come through starting 13th. Hopefully he has that car set up to his liking now. 14th position will be Scott Butler. Kyle Stevens out of 15th. Your B-main transferees, Tammy Bastian in 16th. Brandon Hamilton out of 17th. 18th will be John Schultz. Lewis Hewitt out of 19th. And Matt Reid will be starting out of 10th and off the back row tonight in your A main.
Yeah, so we've got some big names down there at the back of this field, haven't we? Hewitt is one of them. Quite a rough night here for the number 25. We'll see if he can actually come through the field, and it'll also be interesting to see what the Sharman crew have done with his sprint car, see if they can tune it into this track.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for the guys at the back. This is a really hard track to try and get around people that obviously have half losers, and you're going to have to try and pick your way through the field. So watch for the likes of Lewis Hewitt and Dylan Sharman to come up through the back.
See the field now sorting themselves out, waiting for the pace car to come in. We're waiting for him now, and Joel Berkeley will have control of this field, waiting for him to go. He goes, and nice clean start here. We've got Berkeley on the outside, Goodyear on the top, and right down low comes, that looks like Bob King, and he's up to 2nd position already.
Further back, I saw Dylan Sharman get a little bit loose and fall back there, so he has dropped back. James Robbie gets a little bit of serve coming onto the front straight, and there is a big crash on the front straight. 4, 5, 6 cars involved.
Yeah, one of those cars involved was James Robbie. You can see all the carnage down there. Jump back to the replay here, because I tell you what, one of those cars got a huge amount of air. As we have a look at this replay now, folks, keep an eye on Robbie. And it started just in front of him there, Sean.
Yeah, he got a little bit of a touch, and then that just made both of those cars a little bit loose, and then we saw them get tangled and go up into that wall. The problem is now everybody behind them is going so fast, and there's just no way to avoid this accident.
Just trying to see which car that was that got all that air. It's basically caught fire down there. Fortunately, it is a sim, and they'll walk away, but what a spectacular way to exit.
That was a big crash, going very fast there. Carl Hoffman's, I believe, was that big crash. I want to focus on him.
Yeah, I'd say it was Carl Hoffman. We'll jump back and see if we can have a look at the replay of that, if I can get back far enough here, folks. And we'll just keep an eye on Hoffman and see if he was the one that decided to join the rocket program here in the number 3.
That is one of the biggest crashes we have seen on the Australian Speedway League Championship. Just nowhere to go, and those cars carrying so much speed coming into that crash. It all happens so fast in these 410s, Bernie.
Oh, it certainly does. It's claimed some scalps, that one. We've lost Carl Hoffman, James Robbie. Looks like Billy Ryan is out, and potentially Kyle Stevens as well.
Our spotlight driver, Ryan Harris, out for the night, so that'll be a disappointment for his sponsors, Ash Media, Hyper Simulator, SimSpec Engineering, Highline Motorsports.
Yes, looking at your top 5, folks, and how they're going to start. We've got Jock Goodyear in the lead, Bob King up to 2nd, Joel Berkeley 3rd, 4th, Cody Morsk, and Dale Jordison rounds out your top 5. And I'll tell you what, Bob said he wants to go 2 for 2 here. He got an awesome start, didn't he?
Yeah, he's definitely setting himself up here. Jock, obviously a very experienced sprint car driver, so he's going to know how to run that high line. So Bob is going to have to find other ways other than that high line to get past him as we go green. Great start. Bob caught napping there a little bit as Jock gets 4 or 5 car lengths as he turns into turn 1.
We've got Berkeley in 3rd position, Morsk 2nd. We've got the 21, I think it was, slowing on the inside. They continue on, but it's getting a bit messy up here in the back. See the 36 in 6th position, Sadler challenging now. Meanwhile, up front, folks, it's Goodyear, then Berkeley, and King now into 3rd position here, Sean.
Yeah, great race up front by these 3, starting to already pull a gap on your 4th position, Cody Morsk, as we go under yellow.
So I'm just going back, Lewis Hewitt over and out by the looks of it. That looks like that happened after the yellow came out. Would I be right?
Yeah, it does look like. Yeah, it does look like after the cause of that. I'm just having a look at Brendan Hamilton here. Gets into. Looks like he was challenging with Dylan Sharman and just got into the wall there.
Yeah, I just got the end of that, and might go back a bit further and see if we can just pick that up. But yeah, Sharman and Hamilton into the wall that brought out that yellow. We're 8 of 30. We've had 2 yellows so far in this race, so already, touch wood, it's a lot less than what we had in the previous heats. But at the moment, Jock Goodyear still leads, Joel Berkeley in 2nd, Bob King 3rd, Cody Morsk 4th, 5th is Michael Gee. Looking at the drivers that are, in all intensive purposes, out of this race, 46 are Matt Reed. It looks like Scott Butler has also taken that car behind the wall. We've lost Brendan Hamilton in the 93, Lewis Hewitt in the 25. He crashed after the yellow came out. Billy Ryan in the 33. We've lost Kyle Hoffman's in 3, 41 James Robbie, and Kyle Stevens all retired from this. We have a total of 12 cars out of the 20 left.
Yeah, just looking at Lewis Hughes, I'm not sure if there was a communication there or he just didn't know the yellow came on. He did come racing in there up and behind a car and caught him unaware and just grabbed the right rear, and that's what turned him over. So not sure what happened with those yellows there. He may have just missed that yellow.
Yeah, mightn't have realised, but either way, it's extremely costly. 1/3 of the race done here, folks. We'll see how Goodyear goes. Let's see if Berkeley can actually get the jump on him. Bob King was caught napping last time through, waiting for the safety car, pace car to come in, and we'll be back racing here, folks.
Jock Goodyear looking to get a good start again, as he does. Joel Berkeley balks Bob King. Bob King gets a run around the outside. That's not characteristic of Joel Berkeley there to miss a start. Bob King up high, checking out is Jock Goodyear. That's exactly what he needed.
Yeah, and back further here, we've got Morsk and Mitchell Gee swapping positions. Morsk low line, Gee high line in the number 36. Gets it a bit squirrely off the corner, but they go too wide down the back straight here. Looks like Morsk is going to claim that position, or is he? The other one moving up is Sadler, up to 6. He was down there in 10th at the start of this race. Got the 51 King into the wall hard, into Gavin Sadler, and that's going to be the end of King's reign. That was good. You see what I said? King's reign?
Yeah, great racing, but King's reign, that was very good. That high line, I mean, to see King go into the wall, that just proves how hard this high line is to run here tonight.
Yeah, just having a look at that replay, you can just see him in the wall there. And fortunately, Berkeley got through, but then he come down and straight into the side of the number 22. That was Morsk, and Sadler was involved in that as well. So it's taken a few more scalps out of this. Having a look, King's still running, and he doesn't have the front wing on that car. No doubt he's just testing to see if that car's raceable or not. I don't know how good these are without a front wing, but we'll soon find out. We have lost Sadler. He has retired. The Cody Morsk has also just retired out of that, as well as Butler.
Bob King, never say die attitude. This is where the wing will come into effect. Having no front wing, he will have to move that big top wing to the front of the car to make sure he has a little bit of drive. These front wings do not do much on these 410s. It all is the top wing, so don't expect him to not be able to come through. He'll just need to change the balance of that car and hope it's still to his liking.
Yeah, well, he's moved that wing full forward there to get maximum traction on the front to make sure he can steer that car. But here we go, folks. We're waiting now. Jock Goodyear, he's waiting to go. He's got Berkeley behind him and Mitchell Gee just behind him. Let's see if Berkeley can get a run. We're still waiting for the pace car lights to go out here at USA International Speedway for round 5 of the WP Concreting World of Outlaws.
Such a long way around this track when they are only going 40 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, we can see there Goodyear's flashing in and out quite a bit, so hopefully he can get that internet. Well, Berkeley doesn't want to be left out. He's decided he's going to flash in and out as well.
Yeah, a few of them starting to flash now. I'm wondering if internet connections all around. Joel's getting really bad, so hopefully before this start that sorts itself out. Otherwise, it's extremely hard for people behind to know where he is at any point in time.
Yeah, and especially the speed of these sprint cars and how much of a handful they are. You don't want them blinking, but here goes Goodyear. He's got a good start. Berkeley goes down in the number 9 TTL entry. Mitchell Gee into 3rd position. 4th is Bland, and he's being challenged now by Schultz, as we've got, who's that on the inside of him? That's the number 27, Dale Jordison.
John Schultz to the inside of Anthony Bland, not going to get that move done. He'll pull back in and try again, coming back into turn 1, but not close enough to Anthony. Positions stay the same.
Yeah, and we saw Bastion there clip the wall. She got out of that, but a little squirrely as she goes up high, keeps it off the wall once more. She's sitting in 6th position and I think we might be under pace car again.
The yellow flag is out on the track.
I'm just trying to work out who was involved in that, folks. I have a feeling it may have been King or Ellis, Benjamin Ellis, I think. He's missing the front wing in his car now. Let's jump back and have a look.
Yeah, Bob King struggling with that car with no front wing there, not to be unexpected. Obviously, maybe a little bit more than just front wing. If that front end is damaged, that's going to be very much of a handful of car to drive.
Yeah, we'll go back and have another look at that, because Ellis went into the wall first, but King was stopped on the track. So we'll have a look at this replay. You've got King up high, and Ellis gets squirrely there. That's where he hit the wall. But what happened to King? Just keep an eye on this replay, and then we'll soon find out, that's for sure. He was challenging the 91 at the time, goes on the inside, and just goes up and gets hit by the 91, gets turned, brings the yellow out, but then Ellis runs up the back of him and takes his wing off.
So at the start of this race, I definitely wouldn't have called Bob King and Dylan Sharman at the back of this race, but that's what this track has brought to us here tonight. So Dylan Sharman in that 8th position, Bob King in 9th. We currently have 10 runners at the moment from your 20 car field. So half the field gone here, Bernie.
Yeah, 10 runners, 10 laps. We'll have 9 by the time we start here, folks. Looking at your top 5, we've got Goodyear. He will lead them off again. Berkeley, does he have anything for Goodyear? Mitchell Gee out of 3rd. 4th, Bland. Schultz, 5th. And then 6 is Bastian.
Jock Goodyear making some awesome starts here, pulling some big gaps on Joel Berkeley. So watch for Joel to read into that and try and get this jump. I'm not sure if Joel's going to have anything for Jock, because he gets such a good run coming out of turn 3.
Yeah, well, no one has had anything for him yet, have they? But I tell you what, the more yellows we have, the more chance they've got as they go now. Berkeley goes with him, but Goodyear got an awesome start. Gee was down on the inside now, trying to make that low line work. It hasn't all night, and it doesn't once again. With the 78 now coming through on the 57. Sharman into the wall, up on his side. Does it bring out the yellow? I'm not sure.
Being a big track, it does take a while for the leader to get back around, so if he can exit, he should stay green. It looks like we have to stay green, although half a lose on the back by Dale Jordison, but keeps it going as well.
These cars are an absolute handful, and they're definitely proving it here tonight. We've got the 78 now of Schultz in 4th. 5th is Bland. King with no front wing. He's up to 6th position as he's now putting the pressure on Bland.
Battle of attrition out there now. It's all just a matter of finishing. We are on lap 25 of 30 for your A main tonight. Looking at Mitchell Gee and John Schultz. John Schultz trying to run that bottom line, but that high line's still the way and the quick way around this track. Mitchell Gee just pulling away from John slightly.
You see there the 57 around, straight into King, into the wall. King had absolutely nowhere to go there, was running the high line. We've also got the 23 involved in that. Big accident. I think that was Jordison might have been the one involved as well. Let's go back and have a look at this.
It's the unfortunate thing about running around the back. You do have to watch out for the people back there that do spin. So looks like he's just got caught up in someone else's accident again.
Yeah, well, the 57 came up and he had nowhere to go. And then Jordison was trying to get through, threaded the needle, and got collected by King as he went back up. But you can see King is not happy, and it's been a rough night for him in the sprint cars.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. I mean, there was nothing that Bob could have done wrong there. He was up high. It's just unfortunate that Anthony and Tammy got into them and sent Anthony up into that high line and collected Bob.
See now Bland bringing that car into the pit box, turning the motor off. He's done. Still Jordanson's out. So out of that we lost Bland. We lost King. Sharman has also retired. We are now down to 7 cars out of 20 here tonight. It's an absolute demolition derby in the sprint cars.
Do we put money on all cars finishing that are left? That's what we need to be careful of here now. Make sure we don't only end up with 3 cars. We do only have 2 laps to go. It'll be 1 when the pace car crosses the start-finish line this time. So it looks like we may just go green for 1 lap.
Guy, what's Guy doing? He's slowing. No, he's not. I'm thinking now all we need is them all to run out of fuel, and and we don't get anyone to win the race.
The good thing about the sprint car now is there is 1 fuel setting, so they will all need to be running full tanks. There's qualifying tank and full fuel race tank, so fuel shouldn't be an issue here. They should all have the same amount of fuel.
So we're going to have a 1 lap dash here. As you see Goodyear getting ready to go. It'd be absolute robbery if he lost it from here. He's led every single lap of the race, but the last lap is what is going to count here, folks. Does Berkeley have anything for Goodyear? And they're both from the same team, so see if team orders play here. Keep an eye on Guy as well and see if he can get a good start and jump either of these guys.
Jock Goodyear's starts have been amazing all night. Let's see if he can do it one last time. He does get the jump, pulls 2 car lengths down the front straight, will lead into turn 1. Joel Berkeley in second. Mitchell Gee looks to the inside, but that won't have enough drive coming out. Here comes Joel Berkeley. He is close now, going to look for the slider, goes down to the inside, comes up on front. Jock Goodyear tries to get the run, but does not do it. Joel Berkeley manages to get the job done on Jock Goodyear in the final corner.
Tell you what, he has not led 1 lap here tonight in the A-main, folks, but he led when it counted, and that was in that last corner. Absolutely awesome finish there. We'll jump back and have a look at that, folks, and you can just see how we made this work.
Yeah, so for all the kids out there, that is a textbook slide job. He got the run off of turn 2, got really close down the back straight, and he knew exactly where he was going. He was going to that inside line, and sure enough, he ran it in there deep enough to get across the front of Jock Goodyear, made Jock come out of the throttle and try and change to the inside, but Joel Berkeley just had too good of a run on that high line and manages to take heat. So round number 5 of your Australian Speedway League Championship 410 WP Concreting Series.
I'll tell you what, Goodyear led every lap of that race. He's going to be stunned now. He's going to be wondering what the heck happened in that last corner, and what happened was Berkeley in the number 9. Let's go through the full results here, folks, to see where your favourite driver finished. So taking the win was Joel Berkeley. Jock Goodyear, he comes home in second, only just. Mitchell Gee third. 4th, John Schultz. Tammy Bastian settles for 5th position. 6th was Benjamin Ellis. 7th is Dale Jordison. Now from our retirements here, Anthony Bland in 8th. 9th, Bob King. 10th, Dylan Sharman. Gavin Sadler, 11th. 12th, Cody Morsk. Butler in 14th. 15th, Scott Hewitt, 14th. It's all over the place again, would you believe? So they're all our retirements.
A lot of them tonight, 7 finishes in all. Definitely a hard racetrack. We saw that in the street stocks and the midgets, and definitely showed us again here in the 410s.
Yeah, it's been brutal here tonight, hasn't it, at USA International Speedway, that's for sure.
Just seeing if we can have a chat here to Joel. I can't find him around anywhere at the moment. We'll just see if we can bring him into the box, because it'll be awesome to talk to him and just get his thoughts on that final lap slide job there on Jock Goodyear.
Yeah, it certainly would. And while we're waiting, folks, I'll take you through what is coming up here on RRTV for the rest of the week. Another big week of action here. Tomorrow night we have the ANSCAR Thursday Night Thunder coming your way, and that will kick off tomorrow night at 8:40 p.m. for a half-hour pre-race show before the action in Xfinity. Then comes Friday night at 9:15 p.m. we have the Snetterton 200 40-80 sprint in the AOSC, and then on Saturday we will have a triple header. We'll have the ANSCAR Cup Series running in the afternoon, full length race at Bristol, and then following that we will have the GT3's RacingLeagues.com series after that, and we'll end the night with the Sim Racers Asia GT3 series. So still a lot of action to come, but it looks like, Sean, we have Joel Berkeley. I'll bring him in and you can have a chat.
We have managed to find Joel. We had to find him doing a wing dance up and down in the pits. I can imagine why. Definitely Jock Goodyear leading all laps bar the main one. Joel, what a grandstand finish for you there.
That I definitely did not deserve to win that race, in my opinion, but I'll take it, I guess. I feel guilty, but I'll take it.
It was a perfectly clean slide job. I mean, I was calling it down the back straight. You got that great run out of turn 2, and I saw you closing the gap. I was surprised that Jock didn't try and cover inside. Were you a little bit surprised about that as well?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm surprised.
We can definitely hear it in your voice. I'm not sure you thought that was going to be a win. Jock obviously trying to get down below you there after he saw you come across your nose, but just so much drive on the outside of those turn 2 and turn 4. He didn't really have an answer through the middle for you.
Yeah, it really surprised me. I actually pulled the slider and he didn't cross back underneath me and get the win because, it's such a top dominant track with the cushion now, and I'm fully expecting him to get it, but I don't know. I'm surprised. I guess it makes up for the unfortunate run in the midgets, I could say.
Yeah, well, it was not such a good run in the midgets there, but definitely making it up here in the 410s. So as much as you don't think you deserved it, it was a great drive on that last lap. Jock obviously probably battering himself there for not trying to get under you a little bit sooner and get that run onto the straight. Are there any sponsors you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, massive thanks to the guys at TTL Esports. Always putting the time and effort to get where we're at. Ashman Speed Footage down to graphics, Hyper Stimulator, everyone else that helps out, and yeah.
Joel, thank you for your time tonight. Great finish and congratulations on the win here in the WP Concreting 410 series.
Fantastic.
You're a bit surprised there, Bernie.
He sounded guilty. That's what he sounded.
It was definitely robbed. He definitely robbed Jock of that win, but the class that he showed to put that slide job on, as much as he said he didn't deserve it, everything he did was 100% correct, and he just got that slide job perfect at the right time.
Yeah, exactly right. Nothing to feel guilty about. As you said, the slide job was perfect. There was no contact. He left enough room there for Jock to come back at him, but Jock just didn't have the time to do it. So a fantastic end to a great night of Speedway. But I tell you what, USA International Raceway's been brutal tonight, and we saw that in the final one as well, with only, I think, 7 cars out of the 20 making it to the finish.
Yeah, USA proving to be such a tough track with the long straights, like we've been saying all night. The speed coming into these corners was what was putting these drivers off, and they just weren't expecting it, I don't think. So it'll be interesting to see if we see this track on the schedule again, and if it does, if anybody can learn from what they've taken away, take away from what they can learn tonight, and bring in a better show if we see it again on the schedule.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, next week we will have round 6. I'm not sure where we're going next week, But it's going to be fun anyway, and you can join us here next Wednesday night, folks. But don't forget, in the meantime, if you can't catch a live broadcast of the AOSC or any of the future races this week, come over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/RRTV Live, to catch the latest news in sim car racing and any updates we have about the series that we're covering. So on that note, Sean, I think it's time to have a night, call it a night, I should say. Big shout out to Bailey Hall, though. He called the first, the street stocks with you, the dirt midgets with you. He's under the weather, folks. You probably heard him struggling through, but like a trooper, he stuck with it and did a good job tonight.
Yeah, big thanks to Bailey for starting out the night. I'm a bit unfortunate that he couldn't carry it through and finish it, but I'm sure we'll hear him calling more ASL later on in the series.
Yeah, definitely. It's time to go, folks. So on behalf of Sean O'Hara, I'm Bernie Weemers, and I should also bid Bailey Hall good night. Hopefully we'll see you again tomorrow night, but if we don't, stay safe, have a great end of the work week, and we will catch up with you soon. Good night.